What is up, guys? Salute to all the speedtards. This is our 600 subscriber stream. We appreciate your continued support and viewership. And yeah, we're just kind of hanging out tonight. I usually get pretty drunk during these, but viewership. And yeah, we're just kind of hanging out. Oh shit! I gotta turn that off. I usually get pretty. Sorry about that. Yeah, I usually get pretty drunk during these, but I'm not drinking tonight, so we're just gonna be doing a little smoking, doing a little chilling. I'm here with Seamus, Many Dog, Lord Dark, and CSD. So what's up, guys?
Nothing really. Just kind of bored.
Yeah, Friday night. It's raining here. Like it was raining all fucking day. It's stopped now, but
yeah. So Gio, congratulations on you being having 600 followers on YouTube.
Yeah,
Proud of
thanks.
you.
Lord Dark, of course, is the co-host of Third Position Radio. They're on BitChute.
Yeah.
I've been on their podcast twice. It's a good show.
Was it twice? I thought it was 3 times, but I could be wrong.
No, I've been on twice.
Times. No, actually 4 times.
CSD's been on 4 times?
Yeah, I have. I was one of their original guests when they originally did it like 2 to 3 years ago.
Okay, yeah. And it was dead for a while and they like revived it recently, right?
Yes.
I was supposed to go on, but then just never did.
We got too many dogs now.
Real many dogs.
Damn. Yeah. But yeah, Seamus was supposed to go on during one episode, but he went to bed, and we were like, "Oh, Seamus not here."
Yeah. Speaking of podcasts, I brought Seamus on to announce his new podcast with Evan Tobia. Do you want to talk about that? Where people can listen to it when it drops? They haven't done.
Yeah, I'll get to that later. I got to run and do something real quick. I'll be back in a moment, though.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Fucking Streamlabs is literally as fuck.
Oh. Yeah. So, what was it? That's right. So, Gio, very proud of you, man. I don't know you a whole lot, but I'm very happy. You got 600 followers on YouTube.
Well, thanks, dude. I appreciate it.
Also, I wish you and Outcast, 30 in the future, and keep on going.
Yeah. Well, thanks, dude. I appreciate it. CSD published a new article yesterday on his blog, Authenticity, or the Syndicalist Papers. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? What's it all about?
Yeah, sure. Basically, it's about basically like a critique of parliamentary politics, along with terrorism, or just solely doing activism, and just talking about the importance of building like institutions and community organizing when it comes to gaining power.
Yeah, which is something I don't see any of the groups really doing. American Reformation Front does it a bit. Casa Pound does it a lot, but in North America, at least, you don't see a whole lot of that. Which I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of naivety about gaining power. Like you just see a lot of groups that just want to just like say, "Oh, we're just going to run in elections until we win." And it's like that's not how you gain power, nor is it how you convince people entirely to vote for you. You have to do more than just run.
Yeah, you have to build like a political movement around like your platform. You can't just be entirely internet based and then run. People aren't going to know who you are.
It's not even that really. It's more like you have to be in the community. You have to be active in your community. You have to show people what your plans are and what you want to do for the future.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And also like terrorism just simply doesn't work. Like, sure, you may clip someone important, but they're just going to be replaced, and you're just going to be thrown in jail, and there's just going to be more restrictions on dissidents in general. That's all
true.
that does.
Now, the violent path to change died 50, 60 years ago. You can't do it anymore. There's no reason in attempting to put yourself through by violence or force of arms.
True,
yeah.
true.
Like all the accelerationist rhetoric and stuff was tried in Italy during the years of lead, and
it failed horrifically because nobody wanted to side with terrorists.
Exactly.
And
there were groups like the
partisan.
IRA who like did terrorist acts and stuff, and like.
But the IRA was more successful in areas where it never did terrorism. Like Sinn Féin, the political arm of the IRA, only got successful and actually won last year, right? This has been the biggest success for fucking the IRA Sinn Féin ever is 2020, 2021, right?
Yeah,
and this is 20 years after they ceased their armed campaign.
Yeah, I think it was successful for them because like the cause of like Irish independence had broad support in the community.
Well,
whereas
they had
like
to take up the arms in the 80s and 70s. They had to, right? It wasn't just a choice anymore. They were forced into taking to arms. So that's why they ended up winning that guerrilla conflict.
Yeah. Whereas like fascism in America doesn't have broad public support. So
not at all because what happened during the war with Italy and Germany, and also because the mass anti-fascist campaigns of communist Democrats, all these other elements in the government.
Well, radical politics in general are not popular with American people in general, regardless if it's fascist or not. Like, communism is not popular unless you mean by democratic socialism or social democracy, but that's not really Marxism or communism or really socialism.
Yeah. To be honest though, like I find it funny when FDR called Mussolini, when he said, I have no problems with that fine Italian fellow over there. I just find that funny every time. I just read it.
Yeah, initially Mussolini was well liked in America. During the Ethiopia campaign, he lost a lot of international support. Economic sanctions were put on Italy.
Yeah,
one of the things led to the alliance
remained a massively popular thing in America until the advent of the war. The American Legion, which is now just seen as a harmless veterans association, was formed as a continuation of fascist concepts into America. And Mussolini was an honorary member. So was figures like Italo Balbo and whatnot. These men were honorary members of the American Legion. And the American Legion at its peak was like 2-3 million veterans across the United States. And they all professed the same concept, same ideology. And referred to themselves as the fascies of America.
Yeah, Italo Balbo still has a street named after him and a monument in Chicago.
The Chicago people are very
adamant
in keeping it.
They've tried taking it down a few times, but the Italian community in Chicago stands up for it, and
of course. Standing,
so a monument that actually celebrates fascism. Meanwhile,
he's still on the list of honorary chiefs for the Sioux Nation. Balbo is.
Yeah. He was opposed to the alliance with Hitler and the race laws.
They'll end up
and
licking their boots.
Yeah. Which is pretty much what happened. Like, the Salo Republic was good on paper. Like, I like the Treaty of Verona or the Verona Manifesto. But in practice, it was a German puppet state. So, like, it's not authentically fascist if Italians don't really have, like, sovereign control over anymore.
Yeah.
So,
if a fascist doesn't have power over it, it isn't a fascist country, right? They were beholden to the laws of the Nazi regime at that point. They no longer had the ability to reject Nazi ultimatums on shipping Jews or, which peoples were allowed to own businesses and what people were allowed in the government.
Yeah, even Giovanni Gentile was considered a moderate by that regime, and a lot of the hardline NS people that were there always constantly attacked him. And when he was originally killed, it was suspected that they were the ones that killed him and not communists.
Yeah. Since
It's kind of sad,
futurist,
Gentile, because he had left the city of Milan having defended multiple communists in court for being, launching attacks against the regime, and then he was killed by the same communists that he had defended in court outside of the city.
Yeah, Marinetti was also always opposed to the anti-Semitism bills. He actually helped out a lot of like Jewish artists and stuff escape from the Nazis. So
Yeah.
He went and fought the Eastern Front.
yeah, since this is a futurist podcast, I thought I'd mention Marinetti's stance. And yeah, he was always, he never liked the alliance with Hitler. He didn't like National Socialism.
Didn't like Hitler in general.
Yeah. So yeah, what's up, 21st century longest? Anyone who's listening, if you have a question or whatever, don't be shy. Don't hesitate to ask.
Yeah, we're eyes and ears here.
Yeah, this is unscripted. We're just kind of hanging out. I usually am drinking during these, which loosens me up a little bit, but I'm just drinking coffee. I was doing some day drinking earlier today and dozed off and woke up like a half hour before we started. So I'm still waking up personally, but
Good optics, Geo.
yeah, this is my most sober drunken stream yet. I think I have one beer left in the fridge. I got some weed here, which I'll probably get into. But when I smoke weed, like I'm not super talkative. Like I kind of like shut down. So I might hold off on that. But yeah, what else is going on with the podcast? Next weekend we're doing an episode on the Black Mask. Who Lord Dark, I'm getting a lot of background noise. Can you mute when you're not talking? Thank you. Yeah, next weekend we're doing an episode on the Black Mask, or Up Against the Wall, motherfucker. And they were like a radical anarchist avant-garde art group who were into shutting down art galleries and museums and stuff. They had a lot of influence on the Weather Underground, who came after them. And they were like got props from the Black Panthers and shit. Like the Black Panthers, they were the only white group that like the Black Panthers took seriously. So I'm looking forward to that episode. Not a lot of people know who they are, so I'm trying to like build some hype for it, and like I'm posting things from them on the Telegram channel and stuff.
Gio, I got a question.
All right, shoot.
So why don't a lot of people talk about Tom Babo too many times?
Well, the reason why Tunnel Bulbo is more of an obscure figure to most people is because he died. He fucking died.
Yeah, true.
That's it. He never survived to the end. He was never tried at a court. He was never hung by his feet or whatever. He died in a plane crash after he was shot down accidentally by Italian forces. Right, his funeral he was mourned by everyone on both sides of the war. The RAF, against the suggestions of Churchill, flew his wraith over his coffin when he was buried. Right, he wasn't hated by anyone. So when he died, it was less of a hooray, he's dead, more of a, well, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, you're right.
Wasn't it suspected at one point that the Nazis ended up killing him, or is that like proven to be untrue?
They made a bunch of claims. Some people like to think that Mussolini had him killed. Some people like to think the Nazis did. In reality, it was an accident. He was flying a Savoia Machiavetti SM-79 passenger aircraft from Tobruk, which was in the direction of Egypt, British colony. After a storm and an attack by British aircraft on a local base, Italian aircraft were on high alert. Sorry, anti-aircraft were on high alert. They mistook the plane for a British aircraft, a British bomber, and they shot it down. And the RAF, deeply mourned his loss. The local commander for the Middle East a man by the name of Arthur Longmore, my bad, was
Mhm.
quoted as saying, the British Royal Air Force expresses its sympathy in the death of General Balbo, a great leader, a gallant aviator, and personally known to me, whom fate had placed on the other side of the war.
Yeah, it was pretty sad. Balboa's like one of my favorite pilots of all times.
Yeah, Balboa was cool. He was at like the March on Rome. He was there from the beginning.
Yeah,
Him and his Squadrizi were there long before the March on Rome.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. In a way, I want to say I admire Balboa more than El Duce in a way.
I think he was definitely right on the Hitler shit.
He was definitely right on it. He was like right on the hammer with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't he want like Italy to side with Britain against
Yeah, he wanted to
Germany?
put Hitler down. He hated Hitler.
Mhm.
When he went on long rants about the dangers of Nazi Germany in the early 30s.
Yeah, because like if Hitler would have actually won World War II, he would have like gone straight for like Spain and Italy next.
Yeah, I mean, because Italy
Yeah.
owned South Tyrol, a German majority area with a very active Nazi party. There was never any doubt in any of the PNF members and higher ups' minds that as soon as Hitler was done with the rest of Europe, they were on the chopping block. That's why during World War II, Mussolini, Pétain, and Franco were signing accords with one another, preparing for that eventuality. They had plans for a Latin alliance, if you will, to oppose Hitler. Even though it would have been fucking ridiculous, because if Hitler had won, he would have been the sole power in Europe, right?
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't agree with siding with Britain. I would oppose Britain. I think siding with the Soviet Union against the Krauts would have been pretty.
Except the Soviet Union didn't dislike Hitler. Stalin thought Hitler was actually his friend. And the personal letters between Hitler and Stalin show that Stalin took their alliance and their friendly relationship very seriously, and that he never had any intentions to oppose Nazi hegemony over Central and Western Europe.
Mhm.
So at that point, there was no chance that the Soviet Union was going to be opposing Hitler in any form. In fact, it was actively promoting Hitler. It was building his tanks. It was supplying him with oil and coal. Hitler only got as far as he did thanks to the Soviet Union.
True. Fat Elvis says, yeah, I go into zombie mode when I get high. I worked with the guy, couldn't shut up when he was high. Pretty sure he had ADHD or some shit. What's up, Fat Elvis? Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm not super talkative when I smoke weed. So I'm trying to like push that off. I'm just doing this drunken stream straight and sober for a change.
Oh god, Silver Geo.
Yeah, I don't even do the normal podcasts like sober usually. I'm usually like drinking on something, but I kind of just woke up. I actually got like laid off at work today for a work shortage. I already have another job lined up. But like, yeah, I got home early and started day drinking and then fell asleep.
Sorry to hear that, Gio.
I'm not gonna miss that place really. It's just it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I already have another job lined up, so I'm not really worried.
Oh, Gio. So guess what?
What's up?
So I keep finding like more and more Canadian coins at my job. It's just hilarious.
Yeah, you're in like upstate New York, right? You don't need to disclose your exact location, but
I know that, but I know that, but like at my job, at this like money machine, like like you see like a lot of foreign coins and a lot of foreign coins and stuff like that, and like majority of them, I kid you not, are Canadian.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. Canada's right there, right?
Yeah, it does.
I don't know. I too see a lot of Canadian coins. Not at work really, but I don't work with money. But
In my
Yeah.
day-to-day travel, I'm Canadian, so what do you expect?
Yeah, true. Like, what was it? Last night, I found like a Swedish crown coin. I don't know the name of it, but it was before they adopted the euro.
Yeah. Vald says it's because the loony is taking over. That's why. Like maple syrup, Canada's evil oozes across the border. Like the Americans
So true.
will submit to total leaf supremacy.
Leaf supremacy is base supremacy.
Yeah. You're
So
gonna
much
have
for
like
American nationalism.
legal weed and free healthcare imposed on the Americans by force. And
Do it.
yeah, Canadians get a lot of hate, but Americans are just like jealous of our communist utopia and shit.
Nah, Geo. To be
Prime Minister there declare a state of emergency and everything.
Yeah. I'm just shit posting. You know,
to be
I complain about Canada and shit, but the truth is it's not really that bad of a place to live. I mean,
it's not a bad place. Just don't live too north. That's really it.
very few people do. Like the country's mostly unpopulated. Most Canadians live within like I think 500 kilometers of like the U.S. border, and like after that, it's like super unpopulated.
Yeah. Shit. That's right. So like tonight or no, like tomorrow morning, like around 1 or 2. Me and Goebbels are gonna make an episode, and then we're probably gonna like try to edit it out, and get it posted, the quicker way we can.
You're doing an episode on the trucker protests.
Yeah, the trucker, Ukraine, and that's really it.
Yeah, current events. That one's going to be just you and Goebbels, right?
Yeah, just me and Goebbels.
Slava.
Do you have any other
You're
like
correct.
guest plans? You guys should have Evan on American. Good interview.
We will have Evan on in the future. We all three of us are planning a date and time for it.
Yeah.
Yo, Seamus.
Yeah.
I got a question for you, Gio. Who's
up?
been the favorite person you've interviewed so far?
I was happy with how the Fen de Villiers interview turned out. We had an active chat. The thing is, like, there are pros and cons to live streaming versus pre-recording. When I pre-record, I can make an intro and like showcase the artist's art more. But like, I also like being able to address audience questions and stuff. I thought we had a good vibe going with that one. I enjoyed the Faust interview. Faust is a cool lady. Yer was my first interview, but we had a cool discussion. I've liked all of them so far.
That's
I don't
good.
like picking favorites. Like, I don't know.
That's good. But so
yeah, they're all
Go
very
on.
different people though, so it's like all the conversations were very different.
yeah.
Our
So
work is very different.
Seamus.
Yeah, what's up?
So can I ask you a question?
Feel free.
Uh,
So Ukrainian.
Yeah, Ukraine.
You're supposed to speak Slava.
Yeah, I know I was supposed to say Slava, but I'm not going to because you said it. Okay, don't.
Slava.
Can we not get into
I'm a-
Ukraine debate?
I don't know why. Every time we say Slava, I just keep laughing inside. I just find the whole thing funny.
What's so funny about the great nation of Ukraine?
The pigs.
Can we not get into the Ukraine debate here, guys? Come on.
Okay,
All right,
okay,
well,
okay.
This is going to get real heated, and this is not what the discussion's all about. I mean, the stream is all about.
I
Okay,
honestly don't
okay,
have
fine, you're
a
right.
stance on that. Like, if
Uh,
Ukrainians have enough willpower to make their nation a legit thing,
Yeah,
You
they're
know.
fine.
Oh no,
You see it.
Gio, I'm going to go and die in the Ukraine. That's the goal here.
yeah, I'm not going to fight for it though. I'm not Ukrainian. I'm not
me
Russian,
either.
so it's like I don't have a fucking like a preference as far as that goes. I see it as none
Yeah.
of my business.
Yeah, you're right. So CSD. Let's talk about squirrels in America, then. How about that?
Yeah, it's interesting topics only. CSD's hiking through the fucking mountains right now. He's literally a
Yeah.
squirrel, so like that's why there's always wind noises whenever he starts talking.
Yep.
I literally live in trees.
How them acorns treating you this time of year, CSD? And
Yeah. How are they
have there been
doing?
any recent Bigfoot sightings?
Yeah. Tell us.
The acorns are all right for the most part. It's just very hard to find them because I forget where I stash them all.
Uh-huh.
And Bigfoot is like right outside my tree at the moment and is trying to rape me.
I'm sorry to hear that. I don't think Bigfoot's a good tree climber though. So
Damn, damn CSD. Humans really love you. Makes sense though. He's always at your house. But yeah. So Gio, besides that, with Balbo and I love him and everything like that. The Small GST is also my second favorite paramilitary group.
sorry, what was that?
The Small GST is my second favorite armed ring group in history.
The Squadristi.
Yeah, I like them the most.
Yeah, they were based. To be honest, like I mostly like the early proto-fascist movement. It's what like
Yeah.
I've always been the most attracted to futurism, Fume,
Yeah.
which it's debatable whether like it's even appropriate to really call D'Annunzio a fascist. He definitely had influence on fascism, but it was kind of his own thing. Like the Constitution of Fume was very different from the fascism that came after. Though there was corporatism.
You're wrong. He's ours. We claimed him. Too bad.
We've had this argument in the chat a few times. He never joined the fascist party though. Like he was never a big fan of Mussolini. He was always very critical.
There was literal anti-fascist fascists, like anti-Mussolini fascists called the National Bloc, who never joined the PNF either.
Yeah.
Joining the PNF doesn't make you a fascist or anything.
Yeah,
that's not what it requires.
A lot of the early figures of fascism, like Alceste Ambris, for example, ended
Giovanni Galati, he was a part of the National Bloc, and then there was the split in the National Bloc that took fucking like 3 seats in the parliament in 1924. That was the anti-fascist fascists. Hold on, they're the anti-Mussolini fascists called the Nationalist BIS or whatever the fuck. Or whatever else it was. I forget exactly its name, but it was like the Nationalist something or other as a cutoff from Mussolini's Nationalist, and it went on its tangent of anti-Mussolinism until they got shot.
Or why?
The point of the story is that there was the anti-fascists, and that D'Annunzio not being a member of the PNF or whatever didn't disqualify him from being fascist in his concepts. Cesar Ferroni, that's the guy I'm thinking of. He led the National Bundle. Cesar Ferroni, Otelvo Corrigani, Alfredo Masuri, and a few others.
Your point, correct me if I'm wrong, is like if fascism is like a spiritual thing, then like it's not about like a membership card or something.
Well, not just that it's spiritual, is that as an ideology, as a doctrine, as a philosophy, right? It doesn't require a singular party to express its will. It is the anti-party as a concept in itself.
Yeah.
You can be a part of any party and still exhibit the tenets.
True. It's not just cult of personality around one guy either. Like you can be a fascist and be critical of Mussolini.
Absolutely right, and that's what Palomaro Tolati was, or however Tolati Canetti. Sorry, he was an extremely critical of Mussolini, and even voted against him in 1943. But he was always a deep and meticulous follower of the doctrine and philosophy.
True.
The same thing made for like Cruzio Malaparte, who had like a rough relationship with the fascist party, but still supported them until like after World War II. Then he became like a Maoist.
Yeah, Tullio Canetti is a very good example of a similar thing. He was a member of the Fascist Grand Council. He had been a member of the PNF since its foundation, and before that, he was in the Fascios, right? And then in 1943, he voted against Mussolini, but he didn't vote against fascism. He was, misled by Dio Grandi, thinking that he was just, removing Mussolini from the position of El Duce, thinking that it could be led better by someone else.
Same thing with Amato Rosini. There was also another trade unionist. Maybe he's the guy you're talking about, but he ended up writing an apology letter to Mussolini like the day after, and that's what ended up saving him from getting the death
That's
sentence.
Tullio Canetti. That's Tullio Canetti. He was a trade unionist and everything. He was the head of the chambers of corporations and everything. And he was tried during the Verona trials, and he sent a letter to Mussolini apologizing.
That's right. I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about? Seamus, do you want to comment on? You started a new podcast. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, me and Evan are starting a new podcast, I guess, to cover historical pieces and do some commentary on modern day fascism and whatnot, and then invite guests on stuff like that. Sort of in a similar structure to how this is, but more politically motivated than artistically.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, like I was happy with how the last Friday's podcast went on the manifesto of the Futurist Political Party.
Yeah.
From
Isn't that like
1918.
our longest like actual like FF podcast episode besides like the shitpost streams?
Yeah, it's 3 hours
3
long.
hours.
Yeah. Armed Joy was like 2.5 hours. I think Archaeo Futurism went pretty long too. I usually like keeping the podcast like 1 hour, but the conversation was good, so like it goes on as long as it has to. We did have to
We
get
even
through
got like
all the
full
points.
speeches from Evan,
Yeah,
which were great and everything. It was we had a lot to talk about. Good content.
Yeah, after the podcast, we all were like talking about like, yeah, there isn't really a good classical fascist podcast or like channel or platform right now. There are people who comment on like the news cycle and shit like that. There are lots of Wignat podcasts, but yeah, we want to promote like classical fascism. We need to get better at
those beautiful prefixes.
Yeah, putting the emphasis on fascism proper, not Wignatism or American white trashionalism. I really don't have a lot of sympathy for their cause, or I don't get along. I think they attract a lot of scuzzy people. So
absolutely, they do. You get guys like Bumpkin,
they're
that's the kind of people you approach to those kind of movements who want to feel superiority in something because they're so evidently not.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, Seamus? He's our biggest fan.
I know,
No,
he's
he
a
is.
massive fan, but sometimes to cultivate the fan base, you got to like insult them.
Well, your biggest haters are your biggest fans. Like,
Hey, look at the obsession I get, right? I'm the Mr. Kite Maker Baggett, right?
Yeah, for those who aren't on Twitter, like I may as well tell the story. It's kind of amusing. So I think it was Saturday night. Someone, I'm not going to say who, forwards me some messages from the New Frontier chat. This isn't beef between FF and New Frontier. It's with a couple individuals who are associated with that chat and that group. So it's Douglas Fur talking shit. First of all, he thinks like I run the Third Position Radio Twitter. Like in their heads, like Futurism Forever doesn't have any supporters. We don't have any friends. It's just Geo making fucking sock accounts and upvoting and
Yeah,
posting my own
yeah.
shit.
Yeah, by the way, yeah, Geo's like our 600th sub. He made like 600 accounts on his YouTube channel.
Yes, I made 600 sock accounts. And
Gio here spends all day, every day, making fake emails and fake accounts in order to.
Anyway,
boost
so
that.
I post one of them on Twitter. It's just like this is what motivates me to keep doing this. The fact like I get under Tradfag's skin to the extent I'm able to, like, even though he's talking shit, it's like that's what gives me motivation to continue. I won't quit and give these people the satisfaction. Futurism forever. Like we're not going anywhere. But anyway, yeah, Bumpkin pops up in the comments acting all brolic. He's got this screenshot of me posting hot med girls or whatever. It's like an S&M pic. She's like tied up, but it's like there's nothing there. It was aesthetic. I'm not actually into BDSM and shit.
It's also like a Polaroid. It was made for a very intentional artistic expression.
Yeah. Anyway, he thought that he'd be able to get me canceled, and it's like, Bumpkin, you're not like a movement leader or something. You don't have the authority to cancel anybody. For being a degenerate,
Yeah, he literally has less Twitter followers than you, Geo. He's got like less than 200.
Yeah, and you don't get to like call people degenerate when you weigh like 700 pounds and like you're a fat fucking slob.
Dude, wait, is that photo of fucking Bumpkin in like the Telegram chat actually him? Like the one in the orange shirt?
The one where
or is that like edited?
I don't know. Someone found a funny picture of Bumpkin. The dude's shaped like a perfect circle.
Yeah, he's literally a pumpkin.
Human body, yeah, normal human body should not be shaped that way, dude. Worry a little less about what Futurism Forever is up to and worry about your own fucking problems. Like, dude's 22 and he requires a mobility scooter. You don't get to call people degenerate and shit.
I know after he did that to you, like Lane just called him fat and ended up getting blocked by him on Twitter.
Yeah.
There are worse things to happen. Come on.
I mean, like it was like kind of the way it played out was kind of hilarious, like because like he actually thought this would work. Like this is how we're gonna cancel Giovanni. The screenshot.
Well, he made the post trying to cancel you. He was like, I'm going to bully every degenerate out of the third positionist movement or whatever. And then 3 parentheses fascists. I think he finally realized that Angelio, the founder of the International Fascists, was a Jew.
Yeah. Italian fascism was not a reaction to Jewish power. There were a lot of high-ranking Jewish fascists.
When the original manifesto was signed, wasn't like 3 of the members Jewish?
3 out of the 7 writers of the first manifesto, which I actually just recently translated, of the International Fascisti were Jewish, including its leader before Mussolini came around, Angelito Olivetti or whatever the fuck. He was also a religious and ethnic Jew.
So shalom.
Also, a lot of the people who founded the movement were members of the Masonic Order. Balbo, D'Anzio, who else? A few other people that I can't think of right now. They were all members of Masonic orders and whatnot too. They laughed after they made the movement, but that's where they got the funding and everything to like invade Fiume, was from the Masonic Order.
Yeah, D'Annunzio was a Mason. So was Giuseppe Mazzini.
Yeah, a lot of those people were Masons, and the Masons did a lot to help early fascism and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, my Tradcat side is wary of Freemasons, but
yeah, I don't like them that much either. But they did have an important place to play.
Aren't the Freemasons just irrelevant today? Like
they're like a boys' club now, but yeah.
Yeah, they're old dudes. They meet up and play bingo and shit. There's nothing to really be concerned about anymore. They used to have like.
They used to be a big like political and banking face in like Europe and North America. They had massive political and banking power and would use that to their own needs.
In Italy, in the years of lead, they helped like fund a lot of the Nazi terrorist groups that were active in that time period, like Franco Freda, for example.
Yeah, they've always been
in fact,
involved.
It's believed that they were the ones in control of most of it, and who was in control was the CIA.
Yeah, the Masonic orders have always had a lot of like ties to hardcore revolutionary politics. Like even back in the 1700s and whatnot, early Freemason groups were affiliated with the Jacobins and the Red Hats and everything. They've always been very revolutionary, despite being rich and very
A lot of the
well
American founding fathers were also Freemasons too.
like Rat Thrower in the comments said, everybody's wary of Freemasons, but like I don't think
Rat-
they're more likely to touch kids, but
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I don't know. Has there been like I haven't heard of like a big expose on Freemasonic pedophilia. So I'm not sure about that. It's just like a community club or something, I guess.
Today they hold very little power. I see
Yeah.
most of their lodges are like in suburbs or rural areas. They're not. I haven't really.
they're old people or like rich kids, and that's basically it now. There's not much of a Masonic order anymore.
Yeah, it's a big nothing burger in 2022. Some people still are wary of them, which makes sense, I guess. I kind of am too. I don't like secret societies and shit like that. Like I would never join.
Well,
them.
no, I don't understand it either. Right, the whole point of being super secret about everything they do, but like, to each their own.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, as far as the whole Bumpkin thing though, it's like yeah, worry more about your own problems. It's not even like how it played out. It played out in a very hilarious way. Bumpkin ended up getting ratioed. Like you're talking about bullying all the degenerates out of the movement and shit. It's like this is not the New Frontier chat or something. You don't have the authority to bully anyone out of anything. If you're like pissed about me posting hot girls on my fucking Twitter and shit, like how many women did Mussolini bang? Like over 300. He was infamous.
Countless. Like all the leaders were like that. Oswald Mosley was a rampant philanderer. D'Annunzio, Mussolini, they went around with mistresses constantly. I think the only one who wasn't famous for having swaths of mistresses would be like Rivera.
Marinetti was into free love.
Yeah, Marinetti was into free love. I mean, like even Balbo had his, wasn't ever really faithful to one person.
The Free State of Fiume was all about like nudism, free love, cocaine and orgies and shit. Like I don't know. When did these like fucking conservatives take over the fucking movement? Like
1960s and 70s, when it became mainstream conception that fascism was just capitalism and conservatism taken to the extreme.
Yeah,
you can thank Georgiy Dimitrov for that. His Bulgarian faction of the Stalinists.
Yeah, so fuck off with your anti-degeneracy squads. Like I don't give a shit. I didn't build my brand on like Puritanism and piousness. No one who follows me cares about me posting hot med girls.
Yeah, like Gio's like the complete opposite of a hypocrite. Like the only way you can like cancel if like Gio was like upfront saying like he was like this like super traditionalist fucking
Turns out this whole time Gio has been like a super traditionalist hiding and trying to undermine the
yeah. We'll call you hypocrite Gio when you come out and say like you're like a traditionalist in like 10 years.
When somebody leaks his folder of 6,892 fucking pictures of Aryan women in wheat fields.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no one's gonna care about that, Bumpkin. You're gonna have to come up with a better angle if you want to expose me. He's also talking about Gio's a drunk, Gio's this, Gio's that. He claimed I was unemployed, but it's like I've been working since I was 14. Like sitting around collecting welfare has never been something I've done.
So. Yeah, and being like and being like fired and like find a job like a couple weeks later is not unemployed, Bumpkin.
Yeah. Well, I did get laid off today, but like I was unemployed for like 2 hours and I lined something else up. So still working, So yeah, he also said like I made a New Frontier diss track, which I asked around. Apparently, Judas told him that I made a New Frontier diss track, which I did.
I want to hear this now. I want to hear the Gio rap.
Yo, Gio, we should actually make that just to like piss New Frontier off.
That's good shit, Gio. I'd buy it. I'd buy your EP. Put it out, man.
In the Cabaret Voltaire chat, I had posted a quote from Nas's song "Ether." Yeah, that wasn't me. That was Nas, and he's considered like the greatest rapper of all time. Ether's like considered the best diss track of all time, like his Jay-Z diss track. That wasn't me though. That was me quoting Nas. So if you don't like Nas, I mean, you have shit taste in music. I wish I could rap that well. I'd be much more famous and successful if that were me. But sorry to
You're getting there,
disappoint.
Gio. Don't worry. You'll be at
There-
1,000 by the middle of this year. Don't worry.
Yeah, when we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'll release my debut. I'll do my diss track against all my fucking enemies and all the trad fags
Yeah, we'll call them all
the
out.
Anti-Crag diss track.
whose minds I live rent free in.
Yeah, we'll call it the pine trees. We'll call it the. I don't know who else. You hate Geo.
There's a long list. There's Faggot Fist and his chat, the Zolt Fags. Worst chat on Telegram, by the way. I don't know. I think they're just as bad as the Pine Fags, if not worse. From my perspective, they're a lot worse. Pine Fags rated my chat like one time. People in Zolt's chat like make fucking hit pieces full of lies about me. They make fake Giovanni accounts. It never fucking stops from these people.
Well, they're also the
Who
type
else?
to just randomly post rape on Twitter, so it's not like
Yeah.
like they're quality people.
Angelo
Bumpkin
pointed.
Bumpkin was accusing him of being on your side for some reason. I don't know the entire context. That's just what Zolt told me.
What's this?
Zolt was talking to me last night, and he said that he banned Bumpkin from his chat for spurging on him, accusing him of siding with Futures and Forever, which I don't know how he got because y'all haven't been on speaking terms for like 2 months now.
Yeah, me
No,
and
that's probably
Bumpkin
because Bumpkin's like fucking an entire year behind all this fucking internet shit. He probably just found like the first episode of Futures and Forever was like, what? They have a podcast?
Bro, what about
Yeah.
Bumpkin, man? Bumpkin's
Me and-
high, I'm telling you.
Me and Bumpkin are definitely not on the same side. He was just trying to get me canceled like last weekend.
Bruh,
Could be further Zolt deception here.
I don't know. I saw screenshots of like people telling him to shut the fuck up about Giovanni. No one cares. You're basically mad at me because I'm straight. I like pretty girls. I'm not sorry, but
You should see the other shit he posted, Bumpkin, though. He was like, if you allow gays in the movement, you are gay. That was one of the stellar quotes I found.
but just saying, like literally, half these rednecks and national socialists, they're closeted homosexuals themselves.
yeah. At this point, when someone tells me they're a national socialist, I just assume they're gay. The more like outwardly aggressively homophobic they are, the gayer they probably are. So if they want to turn gays into furniture and shit,
Listen, man, I need my gay soap.
they're saying cringe shit like that. I mean, I don't like
Yeah.
organized LGBT, but if someone's a good person, they treat me with respect. They're gonna
We
get.
don't like the
Yeah,
gays.
yeah.
That's why so many of them were in the movement when it first came around.
True.
That's why Casa Pound is tolerant of homosexuals.
Yeah.
Casapound blows the socks off these people every fucking time. Like the anti-degenerate shit. Casapound's over there like, yeah, abortion should be free and open for people to have. Why not?
That's probably my most socially conservative position. Actually, I am pro-life. I don't think abortion should be entirely illegal, but it should be hard to get approved for one. It should only be in cases of rape or if the kid is going to be handicapped or you know what I mean. If there's going to be problems with the birth, exceptions could be made. But in general, I am kind of pro-life, to be honest. Probably influenced by my
They're
Catholic
promoting
upbringing.
same-sex marriage, welfare state, abortion rights.
Yeah, it's the Natsock influence on modern fascism.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even call it fascism, but we're all supposed to be ultra socially conservative. No degenerates in the movement.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like literally, every time they say no degenerates in the movie, guess what? Your movie's full of degenerates.
Well,
Like,
Bumpkin by
it-
definition is degenerate for being fat and having to be on a.
By definition,
I
you're
thought his
degenerative.
whole thing was like owning a knockoff Nazi cap. That's and an M1911.
Yeah, they're like literally like less fucking gays in the Bolshevik party than in the Nazi party.
So true.
Remember that one quote from that Soviet a writer or whatever who was like, "If you kill all the gays, fascism will die."
Yeah. At first, I kind of rolled my eyes at that quote and thought it was just slander. But over the past year or so, I've definitely noticed a huge uptick. And I don't know. I prefer if someone's just upfront. Like if it's the ones who are in the closet who are the biggest problems.
Yeah, they really do. Yeah, they really do. Like, go on.
I remember at one point the Soviet Union even considered like homosexuality to be fascist subversion.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird shit like that. Social fascism is like you fuck men.
Well, the whole Manor Boons concept was like entirely built on gay shit.
But
talking about how it's perfectly normal for people to have homosexual relationships for the most of their lives.
I'll be back.
Mm-hmm. The swarthy Sephardi confirms it's true. So you heard it from the Soviets are anti-gay. That's
base.
Everyone's subscribed to Jewish appreciation on Telegram.
Yeah, Telegram.
The Jewish financiers behind fascism and futurism forever, right?
Yes, so true. Also, just saying, they also finance their position radio as well.
They finance all of us, man.
Yeah, of course.
That's the meme. That's why we get the parentheses. I'm gonna have to add that now to official merch. I'm gonna start putting out 3 parentheses fascisti.
Fascismo forever with the triple parentheses. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck he was getting at with that. I thought he was a classical fascist now. Like when he joined New Frontier, he was 100% Wignat. And then like a month later, he was a classical fascist. Now he's putting it in parentheses. So
the last time I spoke to Bumpkin, he didn't know what corporatism meant. So I mean,
yeah, like that's the thing with fucking New Frontiers. Like basically half their members are just like former Wignats or just don't talk about their past.
Yeah, well, they tell you all the time they're being pragmatic and Machiavellian, which by definition is not Machiavellian. If you're like telling people,
I'm being super Machiavellian.
Imagine a fucking president comes up on stage and says, "Yeah, I'm Machiavellian."
Yeah, you don't say that out loud. Just like how you say you're not doing something for optics out loud. I don't know how people are this stupid.
You just don't get it, CSD. I'm being super Machiavellian.
It's 4D chess that your puny mind cannot
I know
comprehend.
for a fact they haven't read The Prince or anything by Machiavelli, but they're going to say that they're Machiavellian because they think they know what that means.
They did, like on their book club channel, they read through the whole of The Prince.
They read the whole Prince. Wow. Wow, yeah. I'm shocked. I'm actually shocked. They read The Prince.
Yeah. CD did do a book review of the Machiavellian. Not the Machiavellian, The Prince.
The Prince?
Yeah, The Prince.
What's that?
I read by Machiavelli. I read it years ago.
Machiavelli's work.
Yeah.
Yes, that is an actual Mussolini quote, by the way. And it's more of a paraphrase. The actual quote is, I was the first Zionist," was a quote by Mussolini.
Did anyone read Zolt's document about how like fascism is exactly the same as National Socialism?
Yes, I did.
Racism, National Socialism. Yeah, me and CSD, we're gonna talk about doing a fucking article on countering that. Or was it CSD? Was it you, CSD, or was it someone else? Pretty sure it was you.
It wasn't me because I'll do articles.
Dark. I said if he does make it into the video, would you respond? Because I am curious to what you have to say on this issue. Because I see it as more of a nuanced issue than rather being that fascism is racist, fascism is not racist. I see it as a more nuanced issue.
Mm-hmm.
I simply don't care, but I know for a fact it wasn't. Even from its very foundational parts, even before Mussolini got involved in the movement, you can go all the way back to its very foundational writings in the Proho Circle by Vallot, and you can tell that it was opposed to any concept of imperialism or racism and stuff like that. It comes from foundations that fundamentally reject the concept of biology as a factor of human beings.
Yeah.
Like, these people couldn't comprehend how one could assume just by somebody's skin color or biology they were loyal to the country or not. They couldn't comprehend that fact, and they found it morally repugnant that it would be a fact thrown against them in the political arena.
If Zolt was here, he would bring up how there were race laws
But
passed in the
Mussolini in
colonies.
1921 once said the perennial needs of the Aryan race.
I mean, there were race laws.
I mean, there's also like quotes of Mussolini saying he regretted like passing the race laws too. So there's that too. A lot of the major fascist intellectuals did not like it at all. Like Giovanni Gentile.
Literally none of them. There wasn't a. Gregor did the work on this in the search for neo-fascism. He wrote that not a single fascist intellectual supported the concept of race laws. Not a single one.
Yeah, he also talks about this in the Mussolini's intellectuals too. Almost none of them supported it.
It was never really enforced to the extent that Hitlerists would have wanted it to be. And there were similar policies
it was also
in
super fucking vague.
Liberal countries like Britain or France in their colonies, they also had race
or
laws.
America,
and America, there was segregation at the time. It's not unique to fascism at all.
I tried to explain it to somebody when they bring up prison camps in Ethiopia in 1938. I try to explain to them that terrorism usually gets you put in prison, and they're like, "But no."
I mean, against black people, though.
Listen, man, if it's terrorism in Africa, how dare you put them in a prison? Like, what?
Yeah, so it's a double standard like the fucking woke left has. Like, if you're brown, you get the pass of everything you do.
I could stockpile quotes of Bakunin and Proudhon saying racist and anti-Semitic.
Yeah, literally the fucking anarchists were more racialist than fascists in Italy.
Yeah, Marx and Engels too.
Panenzio be like, National Socialism brings nothing to the table except this weird notion of race, which has absolutely nothing to do with.
And if you try to tell a modern day anarchist this, they're gonna fucking spurg at you saying it doesn't fucking matter, we're not racist anymore. It's yeah, whatever, dude.
I think it was just a cultural thing. Europeans in general were kind of racist at that time,
which is why the fascists stuck out, because they weren't. Right? They didn't accept the notions of race as a biological factor that somehow, separated people. They were like, that doesn't make sense. Our philosophy says that biology is a spook.
True. Yeah,
it doesn't make sense just from a purely philosophical standard. If you're an idealist, right? How can you make that conscious decision that race, a biological factor, somehow has play over the mind? That you're just not an idealist. Then you don't understand idealist philosophy if you put something like materialistic like biology over the power of the human mind.
True say. We actually have Pumpkin 2024 with us now.
Our biggest fan.
Pumpkin, our biggest fan.
Yeah, man, I think I'll need to stop hating. Obviously, Bumpkin is the future of the United States. Look at this, man. He's literally William Taft reincarnated.
He's true and reincarnated.
You better show some respect to a real fascist.
Sorry. He doesn't like using the word fascist. He's the new third positionist man.
No. If you fucking see the fucking image, if you see the image we're talking about, Seamus, that his room, he literally has a fag a fascist flag in his room.
I know. I've seen his room and everything. He also has an M1911 pistol. And a weird knockoff Nazi cap that has the British Union of Fascists pin on it.
What a faggot!
Dude,
He
that's
also
such a
has
like,
he also has the flash of action flag too
Like-
somewhere in there.
like dog. Fucking imagine like fucking New Frontier goes anywhere and fucking Bumpkin comes in with his like mobility scooter like to like a fucking podium and like did the speech.
I couldn't see
Ave
anyone.
Obergruppen für Pumpkin coming up to the fucking stage on a mobility
You
scooter
better show some goddamn respect.
with his goddamn black leather trench coat and knock-off Nazi cap coming up on the stage to give his
You don't want to
rallies.
fuck with the boulder of the third position, bro. He'll fuck you up.
Or like
He's
a fucking
attacking
Snorlax.
Antifa with his mobility scooter with a paintball gun.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Oh,
That's pretty
okay.
futurist. Not walking like
oh.
Bumpkin's just way ahead of the curve, bro. Y'all just don't understand his genius.
If you think about it, there haven't been a lot of like really fat political leaders throughout history. Like they're not taken seriously. Even in life, like fat people get promoted less. Like they're not really respected.
Yeah,
you know,
true.
It tells a lot
You better
about
put
who
some
you are.
respect on his sidekick too, the skinny pizza man.
Listen, man, I'm liking the 2022 midterms lineup here for the United States. The third position is you got Bumpkin, you got
That's
Ex-Felons,
right, Bumpkin
you got-
2024.
You got what? The Foreigners. What else we got running here?
Okay. You have Evan, Tobia from
Oh no,
the
we're
Ark.
talking third position. It's not.
Oh yeah. You're right. I guess you'll have like just for kitchen chicks, Zolt.
Oh yeah, Zolt for Senate.
Zolt in this cornfield.
Yes.
Yeah, this is
Listen, man,
something
state
Angelo
Senate,
was.
he's gonna run the state Senate, and he's gonna have like a tranny GF per man.
Okay, so say what you want about Zolt, but like Zolt gets more like dick than any of the other like New Frontier people do. So
I
give the
don't
man
know,
that.
bro. Zolt's career was done when Haas was like, all right, let's bring him on. Squidward.
Yeah, like
bro.
fucking Keith Woods and fucking Joel Davis stopped talking to Zolt when he found out his affiliation with transgender fucking people.
Bro.
Apparently, he started to talk to them again. But
Dude.
Was it after his mom was called or before?
after.
In my opinion, he's going around like openly saying he tried to get Seamus doxxed. Like he should be
I'm allowed to
canceled.
think-
From,
I'm
like,
allowed- I'm allowed
people
to throw
shouldn't
these
tolerate
punches
that shit.
I'm allowed to throw these punches now.
Yeah, exactly. Like all
It's
bullshit.
hilarious, though.
I get fed.
He targeted my chat to do it, so it's like he basically stabbed me in the back. I considered him a friend at that time, but like, yeah, I can't trust someone who's gonna do shit like that. Target my chat. And,
True.
you know, it doesn't matter who your intended target was. I don't think I was
Mhm.
the intended target, but it's like you're targeting my chat, so it's like.
Well, no, nobody but me was the intended target. Everybody else was just side bounties, man. Like I said, $100 a piece.
Yeah, well, I'm a Seamus enabler, quote unquote. So
Yeah, man, that's why you got the side bounty. You got the $100 side. I wonder if they got that $100, man.
I
Never
think doing that stream, like they can't really act on that anymore. Like we kind of blew it out of the water. So like,
We should all get $300.
Yo,
Yeah,
I
yes,
offered him.
you
I'm like, yo, I'll give you it, $2,000, and then he left. No, he deleted his Discord account.
Damn.
Like if any of your guys did get doxxed, we know exactly who did it. So
Yeah, I know, right? But none of them did because he hired two trannies to do it, and both of them ratted him out.
yeah.
So what about that other group that you ended up finding out was also part of it? Do you think that was just a front, or?
No, it literally was. I pointed this out to Gio. So it's all was like, look, I found them for you, and he invited us all to the chat, and like, see, these guys did it. It wasn't me. And the owner of the chat was Vesna, the person that he hired to do it.
Yeah. And it's still people from his chat. Like Year Zero was in his chat. He knew Felix Bernard had been making fake Giovanni accounts for like a year. You know, he keeps them around anyway. Like, you know, these are still your guys, the people who are like tolerated in your chat. So like it still falls on you. Like
Yeah.
I think he was just
Oh.
doing damage control, trying to like repair his own image.
He was
Yeah.
finding a different
You know.
patsy. He first blamed Judas. He was like, "No, Judas did it," and then he was blaming other people. He was just going patsy after patsy, trying to get the
Yeah.
blame off him.
Then he blamed Rex,
Damn.
and you know, until like the live stream when he was kind of forced to admit that it was him, and then he spent 24 hours putting up this front and found like people who were willing to agree to you know, be
Take the
patsies
fucking
for
ball
him.
for him.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, you know, let bygones be bygones. I've kind of moved on. It's old news now, but it's like, yeah, Futurism Forever is not going to be cool with Zolt anymore. Like, I'd rather just distance myself. Dude just attracts heat and drama constantly. It's one thing after another, you know. And yeah, it reflects poorly on Futurism Forever for this shit to be going on around us. So cut ties and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, in the best scenarios, you know, like these things, you know, you cut ties with them, you know, you can't trust these people whatsoever. See, so what you do, you cut ties with them, you know, you cut them off completely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, these people are scum. As he so
Yeah.
elegantly said about me, scum.
Yeah, if misrepresenting fascism is like your concern, why aren't you doxing people from your own shitty chat like Faggot Fist, who like thinks that Hitler was a crusader for Christ? He's trying to reconcile monarchism and National Socialism. Meanwhile, he's like
No,
a
it's because fucking
Pakistani Natsock who bangs Germanic woman, thus forever polluting the purity of Germanic blood and shit. Like, it was just completely incoherent. Like,
yeah, it's because fucking Faggot Fist knows how to like edit videos, and like Zolt's like his like new editor now since fucking his other dude censored Anon doesn't want to like speak with Zolt, doesn't want to interact with Zolt anymore because he doesn't want to get heat.
I think they're working together again, but
Oh, they are again.
I don't know. I've been out of his chat for a long time now, so
I was
even
never in his
before all
chat.
this.
I mean, I don't think so. From what I've talked to Anon, like the last few times I've talked to him, he hasn't really brought it up.
Okay, yeah, I haven't talked to Anon in a long time. I've been out of Zolt's chat for a long time. Wouldn't recommend it. It's like the worst chat on fucking. If you're into like sexually frustrated incels screaming rape at each other, it can be cool, but it's not really my
that's
thing.
what they do
Bro,
on
what?
Twitter,
Wait,
too.
what? What? What about rape?
Yeah, they like rape posting. They think it's hilarious.
Brad, never mind. Actually,
There's no punchline. That is the joke. Like, just rape. Haha.
I mean, when Nazi Maoism was
I
a big
said
meme in old
rape.
circles, they called their group, instead of the Red Guard, they called it the Rape Guard.
Yeah,
bruh.
that's cringe.
I can't make this shit up.
Yeah, you can't. Actually, so on one play, right? I was in a fascist fish chat, whatever, and Zolt, he was there. So I asked him, you know, a bunch of questions. And I'm like, okay, no, I know, I understand, I understand. The whole thing, you and she was not like each other, whatever. That's fine, whatever. But what's up with the whole rape thing? And he literally told me, so he's like, almost like 80% of women who get raped, they have like better orgasms or whatever. This is what he's telling me, and I'm like, I'm sitting here listening to this shit. I'm like,
Certified Zolt quote. I'd believe it.
and I'm seeing myself. I'm sitting here. I'm seeing myself, bruh. But if this guy, you know, ever, you know, says, "Hey, I'm a fascist. I'm going to just do that," you know, or run a party, whatever. I'm like, bruh, you're gonna make me turn to a communist. You're gonna make me be a damn communist at this point, because I'm not going for you at all.
The fascist to communist pipeline, thanks to the internet.
Yeah, true.
because so many people measure like the best leader by like body count. So it's like,
Yeah,
Hitler seems pretty badass at first until you realize that Stalin killed even more people. So
yeah, and then Mao.
yeah, so then
And
they
then
become Stalinists and they become Nazgul, and then they find out Mao killed more people than anybody, so they become
Yep.
Maoists, and then Naz Mao, and they like weird hybrid ideology.
Yeah, true.
Not gonna
That
lie,
doesn't
Maoism
understand
is a
either
cancer.
ideology. Like Maoist theory of revolution doesn't even work like how Franco Freda claims it does. It's very obvious that either he didn't read Mao or he just doesn't care and is just using Maoism as a word to describe.
Wait, Seamus, you can't say that about Franco Freda, man.
Absolutely, I read no. I read his book on it, right, on Naz Maoism and other shit like that, and his articles on fusionism between the two. And then I read Maoist concepts of revolution. I bought Mao's little red book and also his theory on revolution, and neither of them match up whatsoever at any point. So I don't know where the Maoism and Naz Maoism.
But Seamus, no, you can't tell the Zolt fans that at all, man. Come on.
Show me in the 3-phase revolution where he says commit acts of terrorism and scream rape on Twitter, and I'll be an
Alright, guys.
If you can show me
I'll be right back.
in his theory of revolution where he said that, fuck it, I'll be a Naz Maoist.
I'm going to be honest, I still haven't found any evidence that Freda has even did get money from the KGB or Libya for that matter. Because from what I've researched, they mostly gave their money to the Red Brigades and other left-wing terrorist groups during the years of Lead. Does anyone have any comments on that?
It says
they never got money from the KGB. They never got money from any socialist organization other than maybe the Red Army Front at its tail end. Maybe. Other than that, no, never at all. And they would have been absolutely hated by figures like the figures that ran the KGB and other more extreme parts of the Soviet system.
I don't know. To people
unlike these retarded Naz Maoists, the Soviets didn't want to cause anarchy and whatnot. They just wanted to expand the buffer states between Western Europe and the Soviet Union. However many bodies they could put between Moscow and Paris was best.
So the siege starts in
another thing too is just like Jim Francis III, who like had connections with China and Ceausescu's Romania. His organization that ended up denouncing the far right terrorists because they said they were deployed by NATO and they were serving NATO's interests and not that of Europe's. So it's like I don't see any evidence to just suggest that these groups that were led by Freda to be supported by the KGB.
They weren't. The KGB did arm the IRA though. That was a thing.
I know that it's been alleged that they armed the Red Army faction at one point.
I don't think so. I think the RAF got most of its guns from like Czechoslovakian arms dealers, like the IRA did.
That's possible too.
It's very common to buy guns from the Czechoslovaks for some reason. I mean, I could have bought a BTR 60, I want to say, without the turret on top for like $8,000. But that was an offer made by Czechoslovakian arms dealers because I don't know why they have that shit.
Okay, then. To people who think like the siege tards and the Naz Maoists who like think terrorist accelerationism is the path forward, it's been tried during the years of Lead in Italy, and it didn't have great results. So
it failed horribly. It put like entire dissident movements, both the fascists and communists alike, back decades back. Like both of their major parties collapsed in the 90s, and beforehand were continuously moderating, and the terrorism only accelerated that process.
Yeah,
the youth wing of the fucking MSI and everything had to get shut down because the MSI feared that the Italian government was going to use it as an excuse to crack down and shut down MSI functions and whatnot.
Yeah,
And that's
I guess
what led.
turns out.
It directly led to the MSI becoming a moderate conservative political party rather than what it was.
Yeah, I guess like most people don't like commit terrorism. That'll make them dead. I guess like that. I guess that they don't want to do that
Oh
shit.
wow! What Italian citizen would read the newspaper and go, "Holy shit! They bombed a plaza full of kids. Sign me up."
Yeah, those are the guys I want to run with. You know,
Fuck yeah! I want to go bomb a bunch of kids playing in the plaza. Let's fucking go.
what do you say to siege tards who say you can't criticize their martyrs like the Brenton Tarrants?
Well, I just tell
Dylan-
siege tards, if you believe in terrorism so much, why don't you just do it? And so like none of you guys can be around to actually.
I don't know.
say
I went and
anything.
read Tarrant's manifesto, and like, it isn't the worst I've seen from those people, but it's bad. I know the worst. There's this fucking absolutely retarded manifesto called like Reformation Society or something like that we have. That it was made by somebody really like a very hardcore Wignat that wanted to go and commit terrorism and everything, and it got sent to one of our members and everything. It was fucking hilarious. That is probably the worst manifesto I've ever seen. Brenton Tarrant, it was just lazy.
What did you think of Anders Breivik's manifesto? I haven't read the whole thing. I've read excerpts. He was like
I haven't
hardcore
read the whole thing
Zionist.
either, but like all
And,
he
like,
did was
what-
shoot children.
Yeah, he wanted an alliance between like Wignats and Zionists against Muslims and shit. And this
These
is one of
people
your
can't
martyrs.
decide whether they're one struggle with Muslims or hate Muslims.
It's a very strong split within the NS movement, from what I can tell.
You got guys like Brenton Tarrant who are like shooting muzzies and whatnot, and then you got other people on the opposite side of Brenton Tarrant going, "What if we just work with the Islamic extremists? Huh? They hate the West."
Yeah, I know like James Mason has like and Adam Waffen division supported like Al Qaeda and the
Yeah,
Islamic
and
State.
ISIS.
And I know Keith Woods is like supportive of the Palestinians, and I'm pretty sure Hezbollah as well. I know Nick Griffin is supportive of Hezbollah and the Bash and the Assad government.
Hey, I don't mind Assad, but like he's not a radical extremist Islamic. He's a secularist.
Yeah, true. I shouldn't have said it, Assad. My bad.
Assad's fine. There's nothing wrong with Assad. It's everyone else, it seems.
Yeah, I like based Bashar personally. But yeah, he's a secularist. He's not like a fundamentalist Islamist.
He's incredibly wholesome.
Yeah, he's wholesome.
Like, I
100.
remember, like, fucking, what were they? Those hackers, Anonymous, right? They hacked his emails and everything and released him. It was just him talking with his wife.
Yeah,
Scandalous. Go ahead.
I wouldn't
Steve.
say. I would also say Hezbollah isn't as bad as well. Not as bad as like the Islamic State, because they don't just go after random like religious groups that's not their own. Like in fact, they're in coalition with like Christians.
What are you talking about? The SSNP is great. What are you talking about though? The fucking ISIS has never attacked Jewish people.
No. I'm talking about Hezbollah.
I know you are. You're like unlike their Islamic extremist, brethren and whatnot, like ISIL and shit. They don't attack other random religious groups. I mean, neither did ISIL. ISIL killed a whole fuck ton of Muslim people.
I mean, they killed a bunch of Christians too.
Oh yeah, everybody kills Christians. Though. Christians kill Christians. That's not new.
Martyrdom is part of the whole deal. So. Yeah. What's up, James? James, you should come on if you're not at work or some shit. We do have a free slot. But yeah.
Where did Angelo go?
Angelo.
And better yet, where's Outcast?
Pops in and out. Outcast said he was gonna be here, but he's not.
Outcast is probably just like riding his like friend's horse around like the ranch.
Yeah, he's riding his
James are
friend's
cleaning
horse.
his room right now and picking him up and taking him for a bath.
He's like eating caviar in his at his friend's place, the average Outcast shit.
He's double fisting double Big Macs in a parking lot near you. Getting carried around in his sandbox like a pink Chinese emperor. and shouting about McDonald's. And yeah, I don't know. I'm truncating Juan's greatest of all time post. I miss having Juan on for these drunken shit post streams, even though this one's not very drunken. My apologies, guys. I've let you all down. You know, my alcoholism and shit for your entertainment.
Your diss tracks aren't selling well. The alcoholism is taking the last pennies out of your wallet. You know, being an unemployed artist.
I'm drinking Mango Locos, the greatest Monster Energy drink right now, and smoking cigarettes. I got a little weed, but I'm trying not to get into that because I'll stop talking if I do. And yeah, I'm more a sit back and listen guy when I'm smoking weed. I don't talk a lot of shit. Alcohol's the opposite. I'm just sober though, pretty much, drinking my energy drinks.
Talking shit is fun, man.
Salute though. Oh, we got CSD. It's back, and we got the Dadaist himself, James. What's up, James?
Hi.
Oh yeah, Seamus, I had a question for you. Like, so what do you think like the state's role with art should be? Like, should it be hands off, or should like there be a state art program?
I think that the state should promote arts. I think that that's a good idea. I think that the state should have some say in certain patriotic art initiatives, but I don't think the state should control art in any way. I feel that if the state begins to control art, it loses that kind of individual interpretations and whatnot.
I think it's the role of creative people, how they choose to express themselves. You know, I'm kind of against all like anti laws that try and limit human or artistic expression. It's like one of the reasons I don't really support banning pornography, especially like given the kind of trad fags who promote such things, like, and how they define pornography, which is anything that might give them a sexual thought. You know, I have people complaining about like the kind of shit I post on my Twitter, and it's like none of that's pornography to me. You know.
No, you see, Gio, they see titties and they immediately think that you're posting porn because their mind is so fucking
the people who are against like naked women are like the gayest people I know. So like, doesn't even matter.
Wait, what happened?
No, Gio's just getting shit on Twitter for reposting.
Gio recently posted a woman with her tits out, so I mean,
which one was that?
That's it's like an artistic photograph. The one on the beach.
Yeah,
it's by Stefano, and it says Ralph Gibson, and it's a woman.
Yeah, I don't know why they're like surprised. Like, you've been like doing that shit on Twitter for like months or like years, I think.
Yeah, as long as I've been on Twitter, I don't follow a lot of like. I follow back political accounts. I basically follow back everyone who follows me, but like, I don't like. It's not really a political page. Like, I post art and pretty girls, pretty much.
Yep.
And, you know, I promote futurism forever, and like I kind of stay out of the political circle jerks, though. Like, I don't involve myself.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's boring to me. Like, I've had all these arguments before, so you know, I just don't enjoy it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So while I was gone, right, I was thinking to myself, you know, it'd be funny, if like Zoltanis and his fan base like create a political party, right? What would their name be?
Whoa! You think they'll actually ever do something, dude? No.
No, they won't. No, they won't. But hypothetically,
there's no hypothetical. It just won't happen.
I'll be right back.
All right. Yo, Mini Dog, what you typing over there?
What? I'm just like typing on fucking the Discords. I might mute myself.
Oh no, you don't gotta meet yourself. You know, I was curious. That's all.
Okay, yeah. If I like make too much noise, just tell me to mute myself.
Seamus, I got a question for you. What's your opinion on the Iron Guard?
So, an interesting fact: a lot of people assume the Iron Guard is just like anti-Semitism and shit exemplified. I've done a lot of research on the Iron Guard, especially recently. I've been doing a lot of rereading, and there's a lot of interesting things that go on in its history. For example, Cutranu was initially a member of the Christian National Party, right? Nazis in Romania, and that was a bad start for him, right? But he was always at odds with his leader, Kuza, right? Because Kuza was a Nazi through and through. Unlike Hitler and everyone else, he believed in the doctrine that was actually laid out, you know? He was very serious, and he thought that it was like an actual political platform. So he hated Jews and everything very seriously, and he wanted them dead. Cutranu didn't agree with that. Cutranu thought that, albeit he was a very religious man, and the Orthodox Church at the time was very anti-Semitic, he thought that the Jews were sort of a part of Romania, and that they were the punishment by God, and if you got rid of them, that would be defying God's will. So instead of calling for genocide and whatnot, he chose to like assimilation route. It's even put in his Everything for My Legionnaires. He talks about the cruciality of assimilating these peoples. So he left the Christian National Party with its youth wing, which he had formed, called the Legion of the Archangel Michael, and he founded the Legion of the Archangel Michael as a political party, which would later become the Iron Guard. But it was never initially founded as an anti-Semitic platform. And in 1934, he attended the Montreux Conference in Switzerland, right? And the Norwegian attendants immediately began to spout anti-Semitic rhetoric and demanded that the fascists answer the Jewish question and everything, right? And Cutranu responded by saying, and also signing later on when it was officially made policy, that any fascist group should never undertake hostile actions towards the local Jewish population based on some rhetoric from a concept overseas, like the Norwegians were presenting. You know, this Jewish question and whatnot. It wasn't important to the foundational running of a state, and any fascist group that made decisions and actions against its Jewish population was acting against the concept of state itself. That was one of the things he signed on to in 1934, and then again in 1935 Montreux Conference.
Yeah.
After his death, though, you get the split in the Legion. You have the Horia Semites, who are Nazis, 10,000 out of the 300,000 total, and then you have the actual Iron Guard, who followed the youth wings into fighting the communists and whatnot, which was the vast majority of the rest of them, and they maintained activity up until the 1970s.
What's your opinions on the Crusaders of Romanianism, like the split off that happened in the 30s when Condriano was still alive?
I think that, like most extremist groups in Romania, they were just stupid.
Okay, that's fair enough.
They sound kind of LARPy.
They were like, from what I know from the Wikipedia, they say they were the more pro-Italian section of the Guard.
Okay,
the Guard was always very pro-Italian. It's weird when people refer to things as like the pro-Italian side of the Guard or whatever. The Crusader of Romanianism was like, it's hard to say. It was like,
it was a weird mixture of different ideologies.
Yeah, you had Mihaly Strasilsu, who was like, I don't know, an illiterate peasant before he joined the Legion, and like he never really bought the anti-Semitism because he wasn't religious. So his split with Cutranu was like a split over his concept and how big religion should play. And he never really
I thought it was
liked
also under economics too.
There was some commentary towards economics, though I don't really see like the overlap, like the issue that would cause a split. Both parties in their presentation in 1937, 1936 put out manifestos on economics that were almost the exact same. Some of them used different terminologies and whatnot. Like, for example, Cutranu referred to his economic plan as like a nation of peasants.
Yeah. I do know like the Crusaders ended up moderating on the anti-Semitism, and they were like friends with some Romanian Trotskyist writer too. That surprised me when I originally found out about them.
Mihaly Stilsu was just a very weird kind of person.
Yeah.
His opposition, like I said, to Cutranu always seemed to be over the religious part of the movement, because he was never really sold on the religion. He was more secular, more even atheistic at times, and completely rejected the concept of spirituality and religion in his movement.
Seamus, question. Okay, okay. So, thoughts on the Irish blue shirts?
Well, like, what exactly about the Irish blue shirts? There's nothing overly remarkable about them. They were just a small fascist movement made up of veterans of the Irish National Army.
All right, fair enough.
Oh, Duffy. I like that song, Oh Duffy a Boo.
Oh, Duffy a Boo.
Yeah.
Yeah. They fought in the Spanish Civil War.
Yep. Grandfather was there.
Yeah, there's not really a lot to talk about, though, really. I mean,
CSG, you good, bro?
Oh yeah, I'm
Yo.
good. My bad. I thought I muted myself and I was running.
Oh my God, he's running from Bigfoot. He's running from Bigfoot.
Bigfoot's onto him, so he's scurrying to the next tree. He's got to protect his chestnuts.
Oh God, it's James. Everybody, we have to be next to James now. Again.
Yeah, well, yeah, be nice to James is enforced by law. James is the homie, so, how's Cabaret Voltaire going, James?
James, did you guys know James, he wrote Voltaire?
What?
Yeah, Cabaret Voltaire was the name of, like, an art club that the Dadaists were kind of, like, centered around in Zurich, I believe.
Yeah. Also, James, he wrote the Communist Manifesto himself with Karl Marx, and James, he went for president like three. James ran for president like 3 times in the South.
It's true. You know this.
James base, man. What you mean, man?
No.
Don't hate on James.
I will never write anything political related.
James is based.
James is a goat.
Joan Pope liked his latest manifesto. He got an upvote yesterday.
Hey James, isn't politics a bourgeois concept?
Yes, it is.
Yo, James, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Why are you so base, man?
Why am I so what?
Why are you so base?
I don't know.
He makes it look so easy, right?
Chad, answer.
No, it's also cringe.
What's cringe?
Fascism.
Nah.
Yeah.
You're gonna piss off Seamus, dude.
Good.
It's not Seamus to you. It's Mr. Kike Nigger Faggot. Okay.
All right. This is my apologies. Yeah, James. Red Pill the FF audience on Dadaism. What was Dada?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, James. Do it. Do your stuff.
But it was just an art movement, dude.
Yeah, it was opposed to bourgeois morality and
yeah, fuck the bourgeoisie.
All that good stuff. Check out our podcast on the Dada Manifesto by Tristan Zara. We did a Francis Picabia special with James on it. We read some of his poetry. We've done a little bit of Dada on Futurism forever, but his channel is like centered around Dadaism.
Dadaism.
In the same way FF is centered around Futurism. We delve into other things, but
Gio.
What's up?
I got a question.
Okay.
Okay, so James and Gio, okay. So when can we smash the banking system and free the working class?
How are we gonna? Obviously, we're opposed to the banks, predatory loans and shit. I'm not sure what the question is. Like,
yes. So pretty much like my question is this though. Like, should we just go spray paint the banks with saying be nice to James or else?
Be nice to James is not like the mantra futurism forever or something.
I know.
He's a cool guy, so people should just be nice to him.
I know.
He's the nicest person I know. So
That's right. Speaking of being next to James, I just made a be next to James hoodie. So like
Why?
it, or because I say so. Because I did it. I was bored last night. Why not?
Kind of cringe, dude.
Nah, James is base, man. You got to be next to James, man. Come on.
so yeah,
Yeah.
do you have any readings coming up for Cabaret Voltaire or
Yeah, I was planning on doing one on Sunday.
on what?
Well, it's something from Hans Richter.
Okay, cool. Who was Hans Richter for?
He was a primarily a Dadaist and surrealist filmmaker.
Okay, cool. Have you seen the early Salvador Dali movie, like Un Chien Andalou, with Louis Buñuel? It's more
No, I've
more
never
surrealist
seen
than I would recommend it. It's the one with the sliced eyeball.
All right, Gio. I'm gonna head out.
All right,
And,
well,
enjoy the rest of my night and everything. Everybody who's watching this right now, make sure you be next to Seamus, CSD. Go back on YouTube because we miss your videos. James, you already know the thing. Giovanni, Giovanni, he's the bass guy around here.
the base god will be.
Yeah. Me, myself, and I, Lord Dark. I'm going to tonight. Me and Gilbert's making a new episode, and we'll probably have it out by I want to say Monday or Tuesday at the latest. I don't know yet. But yeah. So make sure you follow Third Position Radio on Twitter and on Telegram also. If you don't, we know where you live.
And BitChute. They're on
And
BitChute, not YouTube. But you'll find the link if you find them on Twitter and all that.
Yeah, BitChute. We do have a YouTube, but it's just me shit posting mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but besides that, you guys have a good night. Seamus, later on I gotta ask you a question, but that's for later on though. All right, guys. Salute.
All right, peace, dude. Thanks for hanging out.
No problem.
Sláinte.
I wasn't aware that Salvador Dali was in films.
Yeah, he made 2 movies with Louis Buñuel in his early days. Yeah, there's the famous shot of the dude slicing the woman's eyeball with like a straight razor. It's like iconic. Yeah, there's like a hand with a hole in it and cancer coming out. It's been years since I watched it. It's obviously not like a linear plot-driven film. There's lots of surrealistic imagery that sticks with you. The eyeball scene is like iconic though. Like it's really famous. Apparently they use like a horse's eyeball or something.
Are you going to see the new Scream movie, Gio?
There's a new Scream movie.
Yeah.
Probably not. I don't really watch a lot of new movies. When I do watch movies, I kind of already know what I like. I like Italian horror from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I like giallos and all that. It's my genre of choice. And yeah, I like a lot of I don't know, European art house films too. Like I like Fellini. I like Michelangelo Antonioni, Jean-Luc Godard. Those kind of dudes. Before we started, we were talking about like Japanese movies and stuff. I like Akira Kurosawa a lot. But yeah, not a lot of new movies. I don't know. I don't even know like the last like newer movie I saw that I would even recommend really. I thought Green Room was pretty cool. About like the punk band who does like a Nazi skinhead show out in the sticks, and then they witness a murder or something. So like they're on the run from Nazi skins. It's kind of like a horror movie. Patrick Stewart plays like the OG skinhead. Yeah, no, it was cool. It like mixes punk, horror, and I guess neo-Nazism to a pretty good movie. I thought that one was good. It's newer. But yeah, not a lot of new movies.
In truth, I don't really even watch that many new movies either. Yeah. I don't remember the last new movie I even went to go see.
I haven't even seen The Joker yet.
So. Yeah, I haven't seen a comic book movie in years.
Yeah.
I watched part of The Joker with my family, and it just ended up depressing me, and I just left after 20 minutes.
It just like on paper, it sounds like a ripoff of like King of Comedy, like the Scorsese movie, where like Robert De Niro plays like a failed comedian, which is
that's
a lot
basically
like
the plot
Taxi
of Joker.
Driver. Yeah. The plot wise, it sounds a lot like King of Comedy. I would recommend that movie. But yeah.
Yeah, that's just the problem with like modern like movies is that they just seem like they're just like they're not as creative as they used to be. Like they just continuously make remake after remake, and nothing seems really original anymore.
Yeah, the auteur era is kind of done, and like the studio system has reemerged. You know, back in the day, like the director was not seen as like the author of the film. You know, in the 70s, that kind of became a thing where you had guys like, there were like early precursors like Orson Welles, but like you had dudes like Scorsese coming out who had like a very distinct style, and like who directed the movie became like who the author of the movie was. And it was like they're known as like auteur filmmakers. Before that, like it was the studio, and like you know, Universal, for example, was known for making monster movies, and like the studio was like the brand or whatever. You also had guys in the 70s like Stanley Kubrick, Scorsese, like William Friedkin, who had distinct styles, like you know, and there were like characteristics of all their movies that kind of tied them together. Like Scorsese always used to work with Robert De Niro back then, so you have a similar cast for a bunch of his movies. Abel Ferrara never gets talked about enough. He's probably like low key one of my favorite filmmakers. You can watch The Driller Killer. It's on YouTube for free. It's a great movie. But like I think The Addiction is one of the best vampire movies. Got a great scene in the middle with Christopher Walken. It's also got Pedro Starr from Onyx in it. So
did you ever watch Lost Boys?
Yeah, I've seen it with Kiefer Sutherland.
Oh, yeah, that's a good film.
I saw it when I was a kid. Like it's been a really long time, but
I watched it like a few years back. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, The Addiction was it's really unique. It's got Michael Imperioli in it too, like briefly. It's got a few of like the Sopranos characters or actors in it in like minor roles, but before they were big. He also did like Miss 45, King of New York, Bad Lieutenant, which is Harvey Keitel's greatest performance, in my opinion. There's always a lot of like Catholic imagery and undertones to his movies. And there's a picture of him hanging out with Casa Pound in Italy. And I'm not sure if he's still in Italy. He did like move from New York to Italy and like made some movies there. I haven't seen his movie about Pasolini, or Willem Dafoe plays Pasolini. I've been meaning to see that. That's like a newer movie that, oh, it came out years ago now, but within the last 10 years, so it's kind of new-ish in comparison to a lot of the other movies we're talking about right now. But yeah, I highly recommend Abel Ferrara. He never really made a bad movie. Bad Lieutenant, King of New York, Driller Killer, Miss 45, The Addiction. You can't go wrong. Yeah, he does have like a Pasolini biopic. I think it's kind of about like his murder and like, which is a very controversial thing. Like some people say there are like conspiracy theories over like who was actually responsible for it. I don't know. I haven't seen the movie though, so I can't really comment on that one.
James, you're big in Civil War movies, are you?
Yeah.
What are your like favorite American Civil War movies?
Well, I guess my favorite would be like Gods and Generals.
Oh, that's a good one. I like Gettysburg. Favorite alternative history movie? Like themed movie?
Alternative history?
Yeah, alternative history.
I don't know. I don't really have like. Are there like any alternative history movies besides that one about the South winning?
There's Red Dawn, which is basically like what if the Soviet Union invaded the United States.
I've never seen Red Dawn.
I've seen it. I've actually really enjoyed the movie, like despite it being staunchly anti-Soviet propaganda.
Eternal Mapper says the Civil War was a spoof. Do you have a response to that, James?
No.
Yeah, me neither. I think it did happen. You can't just go around saying everything was a spook, dude.
Bet? You fucking bet, Gio? I'll do it.
What?
I'll go around saying everything's a spook.
Fascism.
Seamus, you're a spook.
Fascism
I'm a
is a spook. It never happened.
It is a dead ideology. So
Stirner isn't real. This is my statement of truth and fact. Stirner is not real.
So I don't care. Your facts are a spook, Seamus.
Do you want to talk about that? You're a believer that Max Stirner was just like a character made up by Engels to fuck with Marx, pretty much. Like I did
more, much wider thing than that, but yeah, absolutely, he absolutely was. I mean, the first and primary issue with Stirner is that he's not on any single census, marriage report, death report, anything. He has no record of ever being in existence. Johann Caspar Schmidt was his actual name, allegedly, right? But not even that name is used ever in any case. He was married twice, according to his biographers, right? Except neither one of these marriages were ever recorded. There's no church, no anything, no legal document from anywhere saying that these people were married.
Legal documents are a spook, so I could see Stirner not caring about.
Except Stirner's biographers claim that Stirner's first wife took his last name, which is a legal action.
Yeah,
you would need to go to a court and get that applied through to get that last name. But no. And his grave was only made in the 1900s, like late 19, like early, like holy shit, just before the advent of the 1910s, right? Early 1900s.
So are you saying Stirner himself was a spook? That would be perfect.
Stirner himself was a spook, a non-existent figure.
There's
no
real,
photographs.
Seamus.
There's no evidence of his existence. There's no gravestone marked Johann Caspar Schmidt. Nothing.
So who do you think
record
it
of
is?
employment. There's no record of going to any of the universities that people claim that he went through. Right? There's no record of anything like that.
I haven't actually
I don't know. He might be the Angles, or he might be somebody else. Who knows, right? But
It was real Seamus.
he didn't exist.
He did.
Where?
In my mind.
Yeah, exactly.
If he's real,
See,
in our
I can
minds,
accept
then-
that argument. I can accept that argument that because he's an idea, he can exist, right? But the
Yeah.
physical person of Max Stirner isn't
You're
real.
being too autistic about this, dude.
Bro, guys, I'm gonna drop a true bombshell on you guys. I'm Max Stirner.
I'm Max Stirner.
Can I get a
We're all
Spartacus
Max
moment
Stirner.
in here?
That's what we're going for. I don't know. Let's move on. The Departed. I thought it was a good movie. It's a remake of Internal Affairs, which is a Hong Kong crime movie that not a lot of people have really seen. The Departed is Scorsese doing an Irish gangster movie for The Irishman. I thought it was a good movie. I don't think it's not one of my favorite Scorsese movies, but it's good. Goodfellas is probably my favorite movie of all time in general. I think Raging Bull doesn't get enough attention. I think it's De Niro's greatest performance. Taxi Driver obviously is a favorite of mine. His early movie Mean Streets was really good too. Yeah, I was kind of raised on Scorsese, so The Departed is good though. I think it's one of his better, more recent movies. Post 90s, like of the 2000s. Shutter Island wasn't that great in my opinion. I thought The Irishman was kind of boring. I don't know. What do you guys think about The Departed or The Irishman?
I've
Seems
never
to do
watched
all
any of
his-
them.
I haven't watched it.
yeah. He seems to do all his movies with DiCaprio now. Not De Niro. De Niro got old, so and started just doing whatever movies he's offered. He used to be really selective about the roles he did, and in the 90s he kind of stopped doing that. Started doing movies like Analyze This, and kind of became a parody of himself. Meet the Parents, shit like that. I don't know.
What do y'all like? What do y'all prefer, Star Wars or Star Trek?
No,
Star-
Star Trek.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars, James. This is a futurist channel. Damn it.
I'm not big about either though. I don't really like space operas. As far as science fiction goes, I prefer like dystopian cyberpunk kind of movies, I guess.
I'm guessing
Which is
you
me
really didn't care
personally.
for Alien either.
Alien was good. I like H.R. Geiger though. Like visually, I like Alien a lot. I also like The Thing. That's kind of like a sci-fi horror from John Carpenter. But yeah, I prefer Blade Runner to both of those.
I never liked Blade Runner.
Seamus, I think you'll be the most qualified to answer this question.
What's everyone's thoughts on the MBU? That's New British Union. I think they're
And
large
use a bunch
bags.
of boomers who are connected to National Socialism or crackpot conspiracy theories. Or their children with no reason being in a political movement of that sort.
Yeah, they like wearing costumes, and they do white identity politics and shit.
So basically, they're the British version of the American Nazi Party, but instead they're the New British Union.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're just a bunch of former and BNP and shit like that, and there was National Front, who were like, we need better optics. Let's call ourselves fascists rather than Nazis. Maybe that'll get them.
yeah, that's a common thing. People like to present themselves as like Italian style fascists or whatever, because Mussolini doesn't carry the same burden as Hitler does. You're not going to get banned from social media for being a fascist necessarily, or you're less likely to, unless like you can't make it through a sentence without using a racial slur. which a lot of these people simply cannot, so they get banned all the time, and you constantly see their gay ass posts, help me find my friends. Well, you probably wouldn't have gotten banned if you weren't spamming
Although
the N-word.
Seamus channel got banned on Telegram. I don't know why.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Is
Or
it
at least
not
I've been
up
told it
anymore?
has been. I don't know. Yeah, can you see it? I've been told other people can't.
Send it to me, Seamus. I'll see, because I have the Google version of Telegram.
The UCSD that's saying send it.
Huh?
Hello, is that UCSD?
Yeah, it's
I
me.
can't tell
I'm here.
because it's like a okay.
Yeah, that's Google. They block certain channels from their app, but if you download Telegram from their site rather than from the Google App Store, you can still see all those channels. But most people download from the Google App Store.
Because we were told, because I got a photo of it, and it's like, quote, this channel cannot be displayed because it violated Telegram's terms of service.
Yeah, that's the message I'm getting.
I haven't
So,
seen one
Gio,
for.
did you see it? Because I can see it fine, but I'd be told that's just because I own it.
Yeah, I see it on my desktop, not on my phone, because I Google App Store on my phone.
So it's just the phone? Okay.
Yeah. It's the Google App Store. And that happens to a bunch of people. It's probably because you're organizing in real life. So it's probably why you got targeted.
I don't know. ARF hasn't been banned from. Google hasn't censored
Yeah,
them.
ARF literally posted a photo of a bunch of their guys with firearms out in the woods. I'm out here posting like articles and shit, and they're like, time to take them down. No more of this.
Marvel
Like the
or
three things we
DC?
posted were your videos, recolorized art, and articles.
I was a DC guy back when I was a comic book reader.
Yeah, I prefer DC just because, tends to be a little darker. Like I like Batman and shit, I guess. Marvel is like Stan Lee, Spider-Man, all that shit. I was never like a huge comic book guy though.
What you trying to say, Gio? Stanley ain't good enough for you?
Stan Lee is. Well, I respect him as an artist, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough. He was
like
a good guy.
I like Todd McFarlane. He did Spawn in the 90s. He did
Yeah.
some Spider-Man comics and kind of
Yeah.
it. Excuse me. My tastes tend to be on the darker side, so it's like why I like DC more than Marvel. But I'm not a big comic book guy in general. I like horror movies. That's my thing. I sent an invite link to Eternal Mapper, by the way, so he might be joining us. Yeah, I forwarded it to you on Telegram. Spoli says, whatever you do, don't let him join the podcast. I don't know. He seems like a good enough guy. I don't have a problem with Techno Crisp or Eternal Mapper. I don't know if I was supposed to say his Telegram handle, but sorry about that. But yeah, he's got the invite. He should probably be popping up soon. Any other questions from the audience?
Yeah, I got a question.
What's up, Dark?
Gio, when are you gonna set up your restaurant?
When you give me some startup money to start my own business.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm what people call poor. So like I don't have money to start a business. I've always wanted to start like a fucking Italian restaurant though. Cooking is like my hobby. I enjoy doing it.
Okay.
My restaurant would not be futurist. It would be trad.
Sad.
I'm a pastel.
Sad.
What can I say?
Sad. Big rip. This is all a lie.
I want futurist food, Gio.
And it could be funny to like make.
Well, you don't want to eat. You don't want to eat futurist food, dude. You don't want to consume raw meat off of a fucking plate without a fork.
Cringe.
Yeah, it's not my style.
That's been like, I don't know, put through a processor, like I don't know, like
Yeah.
a steam processor or whatever.
Yeah, Gio, come on, man. That's base. That's the ultimate form of futurism.
Yeah. Embrace futurism, Geo.
Yeah, come on, Gio. Be committed.
All this while like inhaling, like fucking retarded amounts of perfume.
Yeah.
I think I might have sent him the wrong link. It says he's backstage. I think I sent him the one from last week. Oh shit. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here. Techno Chris, if you're listening, I just sent you another link. I sent you the one from last week before, so you're not popping up. This is the one from this week. I'm confused.
Confused old man.
Old man Geo. The
Going
Alzheimer's
senile
are starting to
shit.
get you.
My arthritis, just like, bitches don't know about my diabetes.
Mm. So you got a new job, Geo?
Yeah, I start on Tuesday. It's just a, there's like a work slowdown. I wasn't surprised. It's been like dead for the past couple weeks.
Mm.
So they said they might hire me back in the spring when things pick up. It is what it is. No fault of my own. These things happen, But yeah, I don't want to talk about work too much on the live stream because I have a lot of haters who want to like
Docs.
who want to fuck with me. I don't think like I'd really get in trouble for like running an art channel that's not even racist.
Nah, you'll be a Seamus enabler. They'll come, they'll bring you out in the streets and make you wear a badge of shame.
Yeah, I'd still rather like my like personal life not come into my YouTube activity and
No, I get it, Gio.
Yeah,
I get it.
I think it's understandable.
I do the same thing.
Yeah. But yeah, still not seeing you, Eternal Mapper. But yeah, what do you guys want to talk about? I don't know.
Hey, Seamus.
Yeah, what's up?
Why aren't you a communist yet?
You mean anymore?
Well, why
Started
aren't
out as like a Trotskyite, I think.
Yeah.
Based.
And then I was kicked out of the party.
Welcome to FF 600 sub stream, Techno Chris.
Hello.
His first time on the channel. How goes it, dude?
Good, good. What about you?
Pretty good. This is the least drunken stream that we've done. But yeah, we're having like a coherent, meandering conversation. Usually I just get drunk and talk shit on these things. I guess we did talk some shit about Bumpkin and the garbage pail kids who tried canceling Giovanni earlier.
Bumpkin the pumpkin.
Bumpkin the human pumpkin. Yeah. I don't know. So how's life on your side of the pond? It's pretty late for you, is it not?
I am on the eastern coast of the United States, Michigan.
Okay. Michigan. Yeah. I thought you were from like England or something. I don't know why I thought that.
Probably the mostly profile picture.
Yeah, I'm from Southern Ontario initially. Like I grew up. I'm on the East Coast now, but I've been to Detroit a couple times. Beautiful city you got going there,
I wouldn't call Detroit the most beautiful, but
man.
there are some parts that are tolerable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Detroit's Detroit. You're probably not from Detroit though. You're from like Michigan State.
Yeah, around there.
Yeah. Spoley says, why did you let him join the podcast? Because he asked, dude. And yeah, I don't know. I thought bringing some new people on might generate some conversation. We're just hanging out, no script. We're just celebrating 600 subs. So I like doing these. We can kind of answer audience questions, just shoot the shit. We don't really go into them with a set schedule or agenda. Just kind of take it as it comes.
Other than making fun of people who disagree with us.
Yeah, so far he's behaving himself, Spoley. So, if he starts shouting "kike nigger faggot" at people, I might have to kick him, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Not Voltanis, man.
Yeah. Zoltanis is the only person I've actually kicked from one of these streams. People just kind of follow the rules. So there aren't like rules really. Don't get my channel banned by saying stupid things.
Yeah.
But Vald recommends Way Behind, but Hell or High Water is the only good new movie. I have not seen it. I'll keep that in mind though. Maybe I should check it out. Instead of just saying all new movies suck, which they kind of do. Like one or two might be good a year, but new movies are boring to me. Why would I go back? Like, why would I watch a remake of like a movie I've already seen 1,000 times? I don't need to see the Evil Dead remake. The original Evil Dead was classic. Really, I like Evil Dead 2 better than Evil Dead 1. But it's just my preference. It's all just remakes, reboots, prequels. It's the same old shit though.
Quasi reboots.
Yeah, like they don't make original content anymore. It's just the same old shit. So
Our ruling class is very unoriginal and very uncreative.
yeah.
They don't have to be either anymore. They built themselves up to be unstoppable, and now people just accept it.
I wouldn't say they're unstoppable. I mean,
no, they build themselves up to be. It's a perception.
Yeah, you're right. Like, but it seems like they're also trying to like escape like reality with like this virtual reality shit that they're trying to like do now.
Because it's so fucking bad to live.
Yeah, like they're hiding from reality that they're slowly losing power. Like everyone can see it, or at least I think a lot of people are starting to see it now.
Well, it's the death throes of the neoliberal system. So Plato's cycle of state will always win.
Right. It's more of a question on what's going to replace the neoliberal system now.
Will it be able to sustain itself and evolve into something new, or will like a revolutionary vanguard?
You know what? Maybe we're all wrong, and it'll be the armchairs who win it out in the end. The Bordigists who think that the revolution will spontaneously happen.
Yeah. It will be the armchair suits who.
Man, I wish Mini Dog was on here because he knows a bit about Bordita and left com.
I know. I ran into him in like a left com server, and I'm like, "Hey, how you doing, Mini Dog?" And he completely fucking ignored me. Deeply, deeply hurtful. Like,
if you're listening to this, Mini Dog, why you do my boy Seamus like that?
Exactly, man. What the fuck was that, man?
I met a civic nationalist left communist one time, and I still don't know what to think about that.
Interesting.
It's oxymoronic in its nature.
Doesn't make sense. Sounds like Stalinism.
There are like left Nats who,
Yeah, right, but mostly those are like Marxist-Leninists.
Yeah, socialism for one country. And yeah, a lot of them tend to be like Stalinists and shit. I don't know though. I never had like a communist faith, so like I don't really. All the reading I've done on like Marxism and shit has always been like from a critical standpoint for the most part. I mean, I've read the Communist Manifesto, but I've never gotten into like capital. Neither have
Das
most
Kapital.
of they. Neither have most of they though. So you know.
Yeah, no,
not...
very few of them actually read books. I've read a lot of them though. I've read the fucking Das Kapital. I read shit by.
Why would you read a book?
So true. Very true.
James has read more books than almost anyone I know. So
I never read a book in my life.
I was listening to the critique of the Gotha program today, and Engels's thoughts on authority as a critique of like libertarian socialist.
Yeah.
I mean,
I never got
I'll
that
say
deep
this.
into it. I read a lot of it when I was with them, right? And I read a lot of like articles too, but I never got like deep into the shit that they put out.
Yeah, in truth, I've never read Des Capital, and I don't plan on reading it.
It's not good. It's just bland. It's not like anything that you'll get out of a fascist book, where it's like very personable and very very brought to you in a very, one-on-one kind of way. Das Kapital is very like. It kind of reminds me, not because it's like the same style as Hegel, but reminds me of Hegelian writing style because it's like bland and fucking all informative rather than any kind of artistic or emotional expression.
Yeah. Thoughts on Antonio Gramsci?
He started out kind of cringe, but when he was in prison, he got pretty based.
I like his concept of cultural
In his prison notes, he was like, "Yo, Mussolini wasn't that wrong."
Yeah, I haven't.
He liked Gentile and Sorel too.
Yeah, in the end, before he died, he was like writing pieces on how fascism was actually a revolutionary movement, and he was wrong to call it the vanguard of the bourgeoisie and whatnot.
He liked futurism too. Like Many Dog has posted some documents of him saying nice things about the future.
I could probably go digging for my quotes. I used to have a bunch of Gramsci quotes where Gramsci was like, "Yo, Mussolini, he's actually pretty good." And that was towards the end of his life, and most of that shit didn't get published either, which is kind of sad. Not until long after he died, because it undermined the message that the Socialist Party at the time was pushing, that Mussolini was the incarnate of evil and he needed to die.
Yeah,
I liked his article called "The Conquest of the State." I thought it was a pretty decent article that he wrote.
Mussolini was a saint.
No, he wasn't. He was a deeply flawed man who made many mistakes.
Many Dog suggested we cover Men Are Machines by Antonio Gramsci on the podcast. I think I'm going to put it in the spring schedule when I put that together.
I read that a while back, but I've forgotten what it's all about.
Yeah,
it sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. That'll probably be like our communist episode for the spring season. I try it I don't know. I try and
really
cover
call Gramsci a communist, especially towards the end. I feel that he was more just a broad
he was a self-described communist,
Yeah,
but to be fair, there's a lot of people that are self-described Marxists that I wouldn't consider Marxists, like George Sorel or Walter.
Well, George Sorel was a Marxist in the very beginning, and then at the very end of his life. And those are the only 2 points where Sorel was a Marxist.
Yeah, I have not read.
Between start and finish, Sorel was a heretical Marxist.
I have not read.
Just from what I've read from the Reflections on Progress, Reflections on Violence, Illusions on Progress, and the Decomposition of Marxism, it just sounds like he takes more influence from Proudhon more than anything.
Absolutely, he does in the middle, but then towards the end of his life, he put out articles on Marxism or whatnot that was heavily, how do you call it, reconciliatory. He wanted to get back in with Marxism and whatnot. And in the end, he became a Marxist-Leninist and everything. It was like Lenin and Mussolini, 2 men who will lead the future, and then died.
I'll say this as my critique of Sorel. He was very he flip flopped a little too much.
Unlike Valo was solid to the fucking end. He was a student of Sorel, and then he joined the Action Francais, said, "You're too reactionary," moved on, made his own thing, and then died in a concentration camp.
What's your opinions on Edward Berth?
I don't have strong opinions on Edward Berth.
Sorry, what?
Edward Berth. He was one of Sorel's followers.
Yeah, I know he's one of the syndicalists and whatnot. I don't know. He was around, but like he never really stuck, you know.
Yeah, I've read his
He was
article.
never as good as Sorel. I think sorry, not Sorel, Valo. I think that's his big downside, is that he was never as good as Valo and could never keep up.
I read his article on syndicalism and anarchism, and I thought it was pretty good. I've heard different stories about the end of his life. Some people have told me he joined the National Socialists, while others have told me he was part of the resistance. I don't know what is true or not. Like, because
he died before. What? He died in 1939.
He died in 39. Oh shit. Okay.
He never saw the invasion. He joined the Communist Party for a little bit, but then like 90% of the Communist Party, he flipped back to the fascists in the 30s and then died.
What do you think of Charles Maurras?
Maurras was a retard. He had the finest minds, probably, in French history at that point, right? At that point in the 1910s, 1920s, in his group. And then rather than use them, he continued to be some reactionary anti-Semite who cried about immigration and lost every bit of political prominence that the Action Francois had built itself up on over the last 30 years. Right?
He was also really anti-German, but for some reason supported collaboration.
He was stupid. And like his whole movement, he exiled people like Valo and whatnot because they wouldn't agree with him. He's like, "Fuck it, get out of my movement." He was petty and stupid.
Didn't Ramiro Ledesma Ramos rat out?
I don't give a shit about Ledesma. Fuck Ledesma. All my homies hate Ledesma. Barato is where it's at.
Yeah, but didn't he rat out Rivera to the Republic?
Ledesma still is not really being translated into English. Antelope Hill is publishing something, I think.
I've seen little pamphlets by Ledesma.
I translated his entire fucking writings in the Status whatever fucking thing. The Conquest of State. His whole fucking newspaper there. It's all shit.
Like, a lot of Spanish speakers in our chat would be angry at what you just said about Ledesma.
I don't care.
Yeah,
they can
just saying.
Conceive and cry.
What do you not like about him exactly?
His whole thing was just trying to outdo Rivera towards the end of his time in politics. That's all he did. It was like, oh, Rivera said this, I better say this, which is a fucking repaste of what was said, just in a slightly different format. And he betrayed the concepts put forward by people like Barato and whatnot who preceded him, and then it made them out to be some kind of like a retard who didn't know anything about politics. It was just, he was a shitty person, and his writings were uninspired and unoriginal.
Wasn't he also like full on like anti-Semite later in his
days?
Yeah,
he was also an anti-Semite. That doesn't help his case very much.
Yes, we had Futurism Forever, our Evo-Semitic gang. Everyone subscribe to Jewish Appreciation, greatest channel on Telegram.
Where are your Spanish speakers when it comes to discussions about Manuel Delgado Barreto? Where are they?
You'd have to ask them. Like, I'm underread on Spanish fascism and all the ins and outs. Like, you know,
I mostly have only read Jose Antonio. I've only read a select.
Yeah.
Barreto is the OG, man. He was in the 20s. He was the original boy. Like he saw Mussolini's International Fascisti in 1916 and went, "I want that," and then he went with it for the rest of his life.
What about Filippo Corradoni? I think I pronounced that right.
Okay. But like Barreto, he wrote for Primo de Rivera, the first one, Miguel. Like, he was Miguel's main propaganda man. He wrote the whole basis of state for Miguel and how to construct the corporate state and everything. Then Miguel just didn't do it. Kind of a piss off. But
Yeah.
he had his own copy of the Fascist Italiano di Combatto. He called them the National Legion and shit. He wanted to go march on Madrid. And then during the Republic, he shit posted on Hitler all the time, hated him, wrote how he was stupid, and then he was the main mentor to Jose Antonio Primo de Rivera and fucking Rafael Sanchez Maraz and fucking all those people. He was the main ideological person behind them all.
Yeah, I don't know. I will show Antelope Hill Publishing, Ledesma. I look forward to actually reading him so I can have an opinion on him. So thus far, like, his work is extremely difficult to find in English. He didn't want his works translated into any other languages. It should stay in Spanish. So that's
cry.
his wishing. But like, yeah. That's why I don't know much about him. I haven't read him. I'm not gonna like form an opinion based off what people say about him. This way or that way. I'd have to.
I'm going to go copy a foreign movement and then say never translate my works to foreign languages because I'm a hypocrite.
Speaking of that, Francisco Rolao Preto declared during a banquet that the National Syndicalist movement was beyond democracy, fascism, and communism.
Cool. People said that all the time about several different things, including Rivera later on when he wanted to separate himself because he didn't want to get arrested. It was like, oh no, we're not the same. We're totally different. Although our doctrine and philosophy is based on and entirely drawn from yours because I took it from Barreto. No, we're not the same, guys. I promise. Ignore everything I said for the past 3 years saying we are the exact same.
So why were the National Syndicalists formed in Portugal if they already had a corporate state?
Because they didn't. The corporatism in Portugal wasn't fascist. It was Catholic. It's Catholic corporatism.
Oh.
Which there's a whole lot of different corporatisms.
Yeah, it's like corporatism is almost like socialism in that sense that there's like a huge variety of different corporatist like ideas or models.
There's Plato, there's fucking conservative corporatism, there's Christian corporatism, fascist corporatism. There's a whole different
capitalist corporatism.
Yeah, whole lot of different concepts to how corporatism works. Like, for example, you could maybe define Ireland as a corporatist state. Its Senate is made up of professionals. In order to be elected to the Seanad, you have to be a tradesman or somebody who has like a profession, like a doctor or a nurse or whatever.
Didn't Mussolini take Filippo Corridoni's idea? He was the Italian revolutionary syndicalist who wanted
the one who came up with proletarian nation.
He took a whole lot of different ideas from a whole lot of different revolutionary syndicalists. Revolutionary syndicalism was the basis of fascism.
Yeah, he basically wanted to unify the nationalist with syndicalist ideas.
That's not really new. Vallot was doing that with Action Française and the syndicalists. It wasn't new. The revolutionary syndicalists and the heretical Marxists and everything, along with the soldier socialists, had been long seeking a unity between nationalists and syndicalists.
Yeah. Getting very theory heavy. I don't know.
Where's the rest of our homies at? Where are they? I thought some of the other guys would come on.
Yeah, I don't know. I never know who's gonna come on until like the episode's already happening. So this is just like an informal hangout stream. So I'll type in the chat. Like, we got 2 slots open. If anybody wants to come on.
Nothing wrong with a theory-heavy chat.
Where's Juan when you need him?
Juan, I like Juan, but he shitposts too much. You know, we all know why he's not going to be on. You know.
Yeah, I know. He would just spam us with just random gay shit. I know.
Yeah, like I had to kick him from the chat a couple months back. And it's like I like Juan, he's a funny guy, but it's like I didn't want to kick him, but I wanted him to follow the rules, and he didn't want to do that. So eventually you get sick of asking someone to stop doing things, you know.
Oh, I'm aware.
I'm not going to come on here and shit talk him, though. Like, I like Juan. He can be a good guy, but yeah, he's young and he likes to shit post, and it got annoying after a while. No disrespect to Juan. I do kind of miss him for the shit post streams, though. Like, he is a funny guy. He made them entertaining. Instead, you got old man Gio, not even drinking this week. So
I wish you didn't have to take down those old live streams of one being in them.
yeah, I mean, I don't intend to keep up the streams like this indefinitely. Like, I'm kind of fine with taking them down after a couple months. I don't think they have a lot of replay value. People watch them and enjoy them, but it's like it's fun in the moment, but it's basically just a voice chat. Like, it's not real content. We're just hanging out here shooting the shit.
I just wanted you to say the first one because of all the jokes he made about everyone, especially
Yeah,
that.
the pizza party where he said,
Yeah.
Outcast likes to have his balls stepped on with high heels. That was the highlight. Like, I legit laughed at that shit. Because Outcast is into like muscular women and shit. I don't know. It's
By the way, did Outcast even say anything with on your interview with that one painter y'all did?
No, I'm the only one who talked in the interview.
Yeah, because I was about to say every time I was listening in, it was only you two talking and not Outcast.
Yeah, I'm not like super confident in my interviewing abilities and shit yet. Like, Ben was like my third interview, so like I kind of wanted a co-host, like in case, like, you know, I don't know, I fumble or something. Like, I don't know, can't think of something to ask. There's someone who can like jump in, but like it ended up being fine. You know, it was the same with the Faust interview and also. I'm usually the only one who talks in them. They seem to come out okay, you know. But this time I actually prepared like questions and shit to fall back on too. So
yeah, and this one wasn't pre-recorded either. Like the others were pre-recorded, right?
Yeah, those ones were pre-recorded. Like, I don't know how to edit well and shit. Like, I'm not good at making videos. So like it's just like raw one take. Nothing gets edited out really. Yeah, it is what it is.
I do the same shit, you know? I mean, I can't edit with fucking shit, so I just run it and say what we say.
Yeah, exactly. There are pros and cons to live streaming. It is easier. I don't have to put a video together the next day. Like, you know,
If you'd like, I can edit videos.
you're willing to do it voluntarily, like for
Yep.
free. But word, I'll send you an invite to our chat. Like, I keep meaning to do that, but forget. But yeah, I'll do it after the stream.
How
I
is
could
the
do-
public chat in general, Gio? I haven't been on there.
It's pretty much just a comment section. You know, there aren't a lot of people who actually join the chat, but we wanted to like allow people to comment. I generally prefer having a private invite only chat, and the only way in is if someone vouches for you. You know, I'm not really trying to build a community with the public chat. It's just a comment section, so it's not super active. There's like 12 people in it, but you have random comments that pop up here or there. I do moderate it, so like I remove people who I think are troublemakers or, you know, people post dumb shit. But yeah, it's not very active. Most of the people who do comment in there regularly are already in the chat. So
Yeah. Shit. Haven't we reached our 1 year anniversary for this channel?
I think next month is the 1 year anniversary. The first reading I did as Futurism Forever was The Heroic Spring by Enzo Martucci. And yeah, so check the date on that video. That's 1 year anniversary. Maybe we'll do a drunken stream for that. I don't know. Can probably look it up. I mean, it's in March though. Like March is our 1 year.
Yeah,
We'll do it
it's
close.
just hard to believe that this group has been around for 1 year.
We hit our 1 year back in December.
Say, I have a question about Martini.
About Martini?
Yeah,
Marinetti, you mean?
Marinetti, sorry.
Marinetti, yeah. What's up?
Can you validate this quote here? 1922. By that time, Marinetti sees that Mussolini has made the fascist party into a reactionary one. The fascist anti-intellectualism and censorship are starting to worry Marinetti, who realizes he needs to cooperate somehow.
Yeah, he felt Mussolini compromised too much. And yeah, I'm gonna get like my Marinetti book. There's like a quote I want to read. I'll be right back.
Yeah, he quit the party for a while too, like for a few years. He like stormed out of one of their meetings in like the late 1910s,
Once again, as I said very early on, being in the PNF isn't important to being a fascist. There was anti-Mussolini fascist groups like the National Bundle that were openly opposed to Mussolini, like as a leader.
I know when the whole alliance with the socialists failed, like Mussolini threatened to like quit the party and said like if fascism won't follow me, then I won't follow fascism or something around those lines.
Yeah, Marinetti said of Mussolini in his diaries from 1918, he comes from the people but no longer cares about them. He tends toward aristocratic thought and notions of the heroic will. He's certainly no great intellect. He didn't see the need for war. He was originally an anti-militaristic demagogue without a country. Out of this inevitable eruption of hostilities against the autocratic empires, he is now extracting a need for and will toward discipline at all costs. But it has a decidedly reactionary cast and smacks of militarism for its own sake. He doesn't see things clearly. He is propelled by his predisposition toward heroic struggle and his Napoleonic ideal. He also aspires, I think, to riches. He can't take his big eyes off my expensive raincoat. He bids me goodbye in a very friendly manner and is insistent I come back to see him again. That's in like Marinetti's critical writings. That's 1918. So
reminds me of Cesar Forni, who was early fascist squad member, ended up in the PNF, left the PNF after the March on Rome because he got pissed off with Mussolini, and then ran under his own National Fascisti along with Riccardo Sala, and like wanted to kill the king, and he was arrested in 27 or 26, and he declared himself in the courtroom in front of a line of black shirts to be the only sane interpreter of Giovanni Gentile's doctrine and philosophy, which was an interesting thing that he did. But yeah, like Marinetti, early Marinetti at least in that time, he extensively opposed Mussolini until his death in 1943, along with his group.
Didn't he die in 44?
Cesar Ferroni? Cesar Ferroni died in 1943.
Oh no, Marinetti.
No, I'm talking about Ferroni.
44 or 45, I think.
I thought it was 43, right before the Salo Republic.
Let's look it up.
Ironically, by a car crash.
The only way a futurist should go. He died of cardiac arrest. So where is it? He died of cardiac arrest in Bellagio on December 2nd, 1944, while working on a collection of poems praising the wartime achievements of the Decima Flotilla Mass. He was still working and shit. It was cardiac arrest. Was it like, you said it was a car crash? Actually,
Oh,
like,
I thought
I never really. Yeah, we're talking about Marinetti.
I thought it was a car crash that ended up getting him.
Cardiac arrest, according to Wikipedia. It's very brief. Like, it doesn't. I've never actually looked into like his death too much. I know a car crash inspired the entire like futurist movement, though. Got in a car crash and talks about it in the founding manifesto of futurism. But yeah, check out our episode on Crash by J.G. Ballard. We're pro car crash here at Futurism Forever. Seatbelts are for pussies.
Crash and die like a man.
Yeah. Tony posted a funny thing on Telegram where it says, like, I will make it to Hyperborea or some shit. And it's a dude drinking and driving on the highway. It's all blurry and shit. I laughed at that, but yeah.
So, Gio, when is a Speed coming out?
Speed. It was
Yeah,
already
your Futurist Manifesto.
Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock, and Dennis Hopper, like a popular movie in the 90s. Dennis Hopper puts a bomb on a bus, like a city bus, that will explode if they drop below, like, I think it's 40 or something miles per hour. So yeah, the bus has to drive fast. They got to figure out how to dismantle the bomb without stopping the bus. If they stop the bus, the bomb will explode and everybody will die. And it's Keanu Reeves being a cop who has to deal with.
I don't think he was asking about the movie, Gio.
Yeah, I don't have a manifesto on Speed coming. We already wrote the Neo-Futurist Manifesto. It's on the blog.
And I'm disappointed because I wanted to yell out "Read Speed" by Don Giovanni.
Read Speed, faggots. It wouldn't be called Speed, like, it would have to, because it's a Keanu Reeves movie. I wouldn't want big confusion.
Right, because when people talk about speed, they're not talking about drugs or Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
They might accidentally be talking about you, Gio.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to steal his limelight after all, right?
Futurismforever.com, though. We do have a Neo-Futurist Manifesto that me and Alcaz wrote together. I wrote the intro, and he wrote the points. That was like over a year ago. When we first came up with the idea of Futurism Forever, we were both still in like American third position at that time, now known as New Frontier. And yeah, we didn't really launch Futurism Forever until March, though. I don't know. We were doing different things. We came up with the idea and then kind of sat on it for a few months. Then things fell through, and yeah, I revived the idea. Alcaz came back in the picture, and the rest is history. 600 subs and 1 year later.
One step at a time.
Yeah, pretty much.
I always said that Futurism Forever was a revolutionary thing, like when it comes to like content creation. It was very original.
Yeah, no one else was doing like third positionism, I guess, from like a more progressive angle. No one else was really covering modern art either.
Sorry to cut you off here, Gio, but I'm gonna hop off.
All right, thanks for joining us and hanging out.
Yeah, man, it was good to come on. It's good to talk to you guys.
Good luck with your new podcast with Evan too. I'll definitely post it on the Futurism Forever channel and help you guys promote it. Yeah, salute.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man. Slaunch.
See you, Seamus.
Yeah, I don't
But
know
yeah,
how
when I
much.
originally- Go on, my bad.
I don't know how much longer we're going to be going, but what did you want to ask?
I was just going to say, like, when I originally found the channel, like, I think one of the first videos I saw from y'all were, like, the letter you did of Gabriella D'Annunzio and Mussolini's Transocracy speech or article. And I was like, this channel is, like, pure gold.
Yeah, you were one of the first people to start commenting on our videos. And yeah, you joined the chat, and like I invited you on. Your first episode was which one was it?
War's the only hygiene.
War, the only
It was with
hygiene of the
Autismo.
world. Yeah, and it's like Marinetti's criticism of anarchism, mostly. Like he criticizes anarchists for being pacifist and utopian. And yeah, that was the first time CSD was on.
The first video I saw of Futurism Forever was the necessity and beauty of violence.
That was the first time we had Seamus and Evan on, and yeah, you know, I was happy with how that episode turned out, and I liked how the manifesto of the Futurist Political Party went last weekend. So you know,
yeah, it was really well.
Seamus and Evan have like good chemistry, I guess. So like they're starting their own podcast. If you like those two episodes, yeah, coming soon.
Yeah, I was really tuned into that podcast there. Necessity and Beauty of Violence. I learned a lot.
Yeah, I'm glad you liked it, dude. I'll send you an invite to our chat too. Yeah,
All right.
I could use an editor, someone who's actually good at editing videos and shit. So,
all right.
Also, I haven't checked on your blog recently, Gio. Are y'all still like posting stuff on there? Is it mostly just James posting his poems, or?
Yeah, I published one of James's poems. I published something by Caliph, Anarchistic Reflections. I'm planning on writing something on futurism and dogmatism. Like I don't really take it's something I've been accused of, but it's like I don't take a dogmatic approach to futurism. I kind of take what's useful. Like, you know, I do counter signal Marinetti on a bunch of things on the podcast. Like, I don't really think like we need to be excited about cars or airplanes anymore. I talked about this in the Fenn interview briefly, but like, yeah, I don't really take a dogmatic approach. I just take the main idea, you know, rejection of the past and traditionalism, embrace the future, embrace new technology, all that good stuff. But like, as far as glorification of war goes, like, you know, I don't think we should be indifferent about the wars we fight or the wars we support. Like, it's like, you know, I don't celebrate war for war's sake. I think there are just wars and there are unjust wars, and every war that America has involved itself in my lifetime has been unjust. So, like, yeah, I'm not like a pro-military guy in 2022. I also think there should be more of like an ecological component to like a 21st century futurism than there was in the initial movement. It's just, you
know. Would you disagree with Marinetti's idea of having children raised by the state?
I'm not opposed to the free love thing, but I mean, it shouldn't be mandatory. Like, you know, but yeah, it's kind of, it should be more like a private school kind of like situation, you know.
Yeah,
they're not property of the state, like, and they still have like a relationship with their parents and shit, but they spend like 4 months at a time at private school and shit. And you know, I don't know, why not? Probably wouldn't be like on the top of my list, like dismantling the family in 2022. You know, I'm not really opposed to the free love stuff though. Like, at the time, like when they were talking about free love, Like they weren't talking about homosexuality or like polyamory or that kind of thing. It's just you know, like a union between two people without involving the church or the state, and it's more like the institution of marriage that.
Oh, so
Free
like
love
kind of like what
represents.
Marx and Engels
Yeah.
believed, like where they didn't like the idea of marriage, but they still supported like heterosexual monogamous relationships.
Yeah, like when anarchists in like the 1910s wrote about free love, that's what they were referring to. More the institution of marriage. They don't see why the church or the state needs to be involved in a decision that should really just be between the two people, which I don't necessarily disagree with. You know, you can decide to spend your life with someone without formally getting married. You know, more just like a voluntary association or something.
Yeah. I believe like one of my aunts like they do that already. Like they're not they're not like but church standards no they're not married, but in their own way they are married.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we've been going for almost 3 hours. I think I'm gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for 600 subs though, and yeah, here's to 600 more. Yeah, subscribe to or check out Third Position Radio. Check out Authenticity, the Syndicalist Papers blog.
Yep. Check out Seamus. Seamus shy, fascistic.
Yeah.
Cool guys in my opinion. Besides Chris.
Yeah, they got a new podcast coming, so that's dropping soon.
Yeah.
He said he was going to be recording the first episode this weekend, is the plan. So sooner than later, that will drop. And yeah, thanks for 600 subs.
No problem, Gio. Have a good night. Salute.
Peace.